Hey everyone, and welcome to F4 Obsessed, a deep dive, a weekly show where we discuss F4 Thailand from a symbolic and meta perspective. I'm Ty, your host, and my co-host is, of course, Marie Claire, who I call MC. Say hi, MC.
Hello, everyone who has watched us, especially freak out on Twitter this morning as we watched the episode.
Yeah. Yeah, we did our fair share of freaking out.
I I had so many problems focusing
Yeah,
today.
yeah, me too. It was a lot. It was quite a lot. I mean, episode 13, we're so close to the end, and we got so much in this episode. Oh my lord, it was great. Yeah, so for those that don't know, we're Hana Yori Dango fans, and we truly adore the story. We are in for the ride. And just a reminder to like this video, go ahead and interact with it however you can, subscribe to the channel, uh, ring the notification bell, share the video on social media. We only have a few episodes left, but it's still important to do this because we're still trying to keep the hype up as much as possible, trying to keep the conversations going. It's really, really exciting.
A lot of people get caught up when the show is near the end because they want to binge everything.
Exactly.
And so keeping the hype up of both F4 and F4 Obsessed will help more people find this and enjoy what we've been enjoyed all season.
Yeah, and we're going to keep the conversation going probably after the show is over in a couple of different ways. We have some ideas. It's not going to last forever, but it's going to last for a while. So we just want to really soak up the moment, especially into the finale. It's going to be really exciting. So yeah, let's get into our weekly stuff. First and foremost, our comments review. And for those that don't know, these are the comments from last week's episode for episode 12. We just handpicked a few comments that we just want to talk about that are really fun. The first one is from Chris, who said, something I really loved about episode 12 was how open and honest Gorya was about her feelings for Tom. At this point, really the only way she's holding herself back from him is physically or through any forms of intimacy. I think that's totally fine because when they finally reach their first kiss, we'll know that Gorya has no worries left and is fully ready for that next step. Also, at the end of the episode, her not hesitating to give him a definitive answer that yes, she'll be his girlfriend was everything to me. She could have just been like, yes, dummy, that meant yes. But instead, she made sure he processed her response and literally took his face into her hands while doing so. I'm dead.
Yeah. And this, I feel like was a really important and key change from the source material and from the other versions, where she kind of puts him on a probation period.
Yes.
In the other versions.
Yeah.
And this one, we have no probation period. They are together officially because it makes sense for these characters in this telling of the story.
Exactly. Yeah.
Next up is Glowcar. Lita's actions of getting naked is indeed nothing to be ashamed of. The humiliation comes from her knowing too well that Tom will reject her, and yet she does it anyways because she is deeply in love and truly desperate. This uncomfortable scene is here for Tom to realize that asking Lita to be his girlfriend and telling her that he would try to love her was wrong and had consequences. He is ultimately responsible for Lita's humiliating herself like this, and he knows it. This is how I personally interpreted this scene. I love this so much.
Me too. There was a lot of really good comments, and there was a good discussion too. Some replies to this one and some replies to other comments talking about sort of the reaction of Lita and how people's reactions was very much in some cases was very misogynistic, and it was very, red flags for certain types of internalized misogyny from people. And and this was my my big gripe on our pod last week's episode was about how I feel like they still kind of didn't deliver maybe how I would have done it, like how I would have written that scene would have been different. But I also admitted that they're limited by the source material and that this has to happen in this way. But this interpretation I really like because it's saying that they're putting this on Tom. It's going back on Tom, and this is for him to see what he did wrong. And I really, really like that. I think that's really important.
And I think that not having Gorya witness this actually gives this entirely to Tom, because he's the only one who witnessed it. So there is no embarrassment for Lita to take outside of that room, except for what Tom knows that he's done to her. And that is so good. Yeah,
because in other versions, the female lead does walk in on that situation, and there's a big misunderstanding that's caused by it. They took her out of the situation entirely, and that's it's good because this has nothing to do with how Gorya sees herself now, because seeing Lita naked in front of Tom or seeing some kind of form of that situation would make her second guess herself, you know, and what she is offering to Tom in terms of intimacy and whatnot. So that just adds a layer that they're not going to give
isn't the same story.
That's not the same. We're not going to do that in this show. This is all about Gorya doing what she needs to do in her own time. So especially when it comes to this sort of stuff. So all right, so Sophina Bromson said, does anyone else think that Lita's father actually understood what's going on? Him telling her that she can stop now, just embracing her, and then calmly telling Tom they should resolve this in a way that hurts/damages the least. That's not something you do to the former fiance of your daughter that's supposed to be volatile. That was moving and acted well. P.S. The necklace Kavin wears is the shape of Coco Chanel No. 5 bottle. So there's two things here. For the first part, that the dad actually knew and understood what Lita was doing and what she was sacrificing. That I think that's what made the scene so powerful, is that you kind of did wonder, like, does he see that in his child? Like, does he see her?
Like, we don't know, because we don't have the textual evidence to confirm or deny, but he knows that his daughter is hurting enough that he wants to help her. And that was what was powerful about that moment.
I agree,
as far as the Chanel No. 5, there was an amazing thread on the necklaces and how Chanel No. 5 is all about seduction. And Pavani also pointed it out. Like, people have been I don't know, I hope inspired by this show, and they've been picking up things that we even haven't had time or ability to pick up. So everybody's doing so great. I love it.
There's so much food for thought all the time now. Like, throughout the whole week, I have stuff to read and to think about and to contemplate, just because everyone's really just digging in and letting their putting on the tinfoil tiaras, right? But then also allowing their psyche to be kind of projected onto this story and picking it apart in this really interesting way. I love it. I love it so much.
And people's experiences are so different. Like, sometimes the only reason I recognize sort of a mythological or folklore trope or a story structure is because I've had the experience with that. But other people have different experiences, and it all just adds to the conversation.
Exactly. All right. So Famida Islam says, hello. Thank you for all the hard work as always. There's something I found really interesting that I didn't hear the two of you talk about, and it's how Kavin tells Haning that Haning and Gorya are cut from the same cloth, symbolizing how they are both very much caring people, especially with how selfless they are, further proving these two best friends are platonic soulmates. Then he tells Haning later on to stop worrying about others and to be a bit more selfish, which I found to be extremely foreshadowing to what's going to happen in their own story. Hunning's really just a sweet character in every version. I need her to be happy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I also got the impression that this was semi symbolically referring to Hanning also being a flower that is destined to be a star bride. And we
Yes.
get direct symbolism associated with that in this episode and in the
Yep.
show. So
yes, and we'll talk about that going forward.
because she's her like lady in waiting, which is also a noble woman. She's also like a star nobility in making.
Yeah, she is. She just has a different way of finding her own journey. She's a different way of exploring that than Gorya does, because she's not a queen, but she is her own heroine. So yep.
Exactly. The last comment is from H. White. Not Lita removing her clothes and Gorya standing in the grocery aisle looking at noodles, or nudes, as the youths like to say. Yes. Those youths.
The youths and their nudes.
And their nudes. Yeah, and their noodles. Like,
so funny.
Can you send me some noodles, Ty?
God, no.
No, I love this comment just because, like, I love playing with this show, because like part of the fun of this show is like playing with it and like making fun of it sometimes, or like just playing around with what things look like, because that means that it's so deeply in our subconscious that we're playing with it. And we have a lot to say about how deeply everybody's subconscious was in this show this week.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
Is it now to bring that up? Like,
let's talk about it when we go into like the dream sequence of the first scene. I think that's a good place to talk about it. I think we'll save it for that. Because there's a few things we still need to talk about. All right, so let's do our who, what, where. We have 2 who, what, wheres this week because they're kind of important for the episode, because this episode's all about Kavin and Hanning and Mona. So tell us about Mona.
Okay, so you said last week that her outfit when she came into the flower shop bothered you so much. You're like, it's so creepy.
It's so creepy. Yeah, I couldn't get that out of my head.
And like out of nowhere, you're like, you treat it. She's a ghost. Like she's a spirit. Yeah, and I totally agree after seeing like her wardrobe in this whole thing. And it's not like a long who, what, where, but her and shout out to our friend Kitsune who pointed out exactly what this was and actually helped me do like the research on this one today, because I don't always have the time to do everything, and she helps me a lot. So shout out to her. But this is quintessentially Edwardian fashion, Victorian Edwardian fashion. And in the 1970s, it actually came back into popularity again. And it was inspired by Mick Jagger, who was wearing a lot of this, and then fashion designers took inspiration from him, and then women wanted to kind of do this, and so they raided all of these like vintage clothing stores and just started wearing old clothes again. In the 1970s. But then in the 2020s, fashion designers like took all of the styles that were popular in the 1970s and revamped them and like made them new again, right? But why this is important is because this is literally like the ghost of our past coming back and back again to haunt us. And it has that like old-timey ghost feel, and her hair is down, so like from a Korean ghost perspective, like that's very scary. That's traditionally like a woman wearing her hair down like in front of her face, like that is very ghost like.
It's very ghost like. Yeah, I was really shocked when Mona showed up in this episode
in the white lace.
In the white lace.
Yeah.
After she's already been a projection of his like psyche, after he's been seeing her when she's not there, and then she shows up in this outfit, and then she shows up engaged on top of that. I was like, oh my god, like this is so symbolic.
There's one other symbolism associated with this, which is that it reminds our psyche of school age. So this is his school age love.
Right. It's old. It's
old.
Yeah, definitely.
This like the costuming in this show, just like
it's pretty crazy.
It's amazing. And the style and choosing like modern versions of new Edwardian fashion, which was popular in the 70s, and like Edwardian fashion is just what is this show?
Yeah, I mean, because at first you look at this and there is that indication of like it looks a little bit like the garlands that he weaves, and there's all of this the stuff that going on about Gawyn kind of being a weaver and being the magician character, and
the lace has flowers woven into it, so it is connected to that. She wears blues and whites, so she is also a star bride, but she is the star bride of his past,
right? But she's also, what I was getting at was just saying that he is someone who is practicing something that is old, something that is of
ancient
the past. Ancient art of the past. It's a cultural thing. It's stuff that only a few people in the culture know that still like practice it. So her character like automatically has kind of been suited for this, of the past and of this practice and whatnot of weaving and everything. But there's layers to it, as there always is for all of these symbols in the show. So yeah. And,
absolutely.
Anything else we want to say about Mona before?
No, that was it. Just, you were right. She's a ghost of his of Gawyn's past.
Yeah.
Ghost of his past. And she fulfills that fully with her costuming.
Yeah, totally. Right. Okay. So
I was like, oh, you're doing hunting. Okay.
I kind of did this last minute, so I apologize. This is not as organized as I would want it to be. But I wanted to, because I kind of noticed something in this episode. It freaked me out that Honey's earrings and her earrings have been like bothering me for a while, to be honest, because every time they change, I notice them because she wears such noticeable earrings. So I went back to the first episode and I kind of skimmed the whole show today, kind of last minute, and saw that. So if you're looking at the screen, the top left corner, she starts out the first 2 episodes with just the stud, with just a very simple stud. There's no flower symbolism going on here. And then in the third episode, the end of the second episode, she does meet, that's when she meets Gawyn for the first time, and she has the purple so she's got their mix and match earrings, right? So the front part is a different shape and the back part is a different shape, and they're mix and match. So she wears the mix and match throughout the series, depending on the episode. And
occasionally she is a star, on her way to being a star.
Yeah. Because in this one, when he meets her, she's wearing the purple. It's like the purple round circle, and then the star is behind her ear. And then in other episodes, probably the majority of episodes, I would say, we get her wearing the daisy earrings. And those are kind of hard to see from far away. They kind of just look like a little white thing with like a dot in the middle, but those are the same earrings. It's always the daisy earrings. And then when she's making the cookies with Gorya, she is then again wearing the studs, but now she's wearing the pink ones with the star behind it.
Oh my god.
And then when she is talking to Gawyn before he takes her home, so this is like the bottom, it's bottom right is the picture from it, and then I put the bottom left is kind of a zoom in of the earring itself. Those are little gold flowers, and she doesn't wear these a lot. She just wears these, I'm pretty sure it's just this episode where he's finally teaching her how to do the flower garlands.
Mm-hmm.
And she like pokes herself and all of that. So then she's wearing the gold ones. But then when he takes her home, she's no longer wearing the gold earrings. And she's wearing the studs again. So she's back to being kind of this innocent, childlike, she's not blooming anymore sort of thing.
Mm.
And then in this episode, we get a really cool combination where she's wearing different earrings on different ears. So on her right ear, she's wearing the pink stud, and she's wearing the triangles instead of the stars at the beginning. So instead of a star behind her ear, it's a little triangle. And then she's wearing a purple heart on the other ear with a little pinkish triangle behind it. And then towards the end of the episode, she's wearing the purple ones with the star behind it, which is the same ones that she's wearing when she first met Gavin, because it's exactly the same outfit.
Yeah, it's the same outfit. Yeah.
It's the same outfit down to the earrings. So yeah, that's a little rundown of Honeying and why her earrings are so important.
And symbolically, we have her growing from a very innocent bud to a flower to a star. She is also a star bride.
Yeah. And I really like the inclusion of purple. And as she wears purple, right? She wears purple a lot. But purple, in terms of her earrings and in terms of like kind of the symbol that she's wearing on her in this way where she's like being pierced with it, that's a thing, right? When you're pierced through with a symbol, it's in you, it's inside of you, it's a part of you. And for the color purple, it's this the magic of love, at least from my interpretation. It's like kind of the magic of love is like guiding her during that time. It guides her.
Gawain's love,
right? Well, it's her. I think it's her own magic. Like, you create your own magic.
Yeah.
So she is guided by her love to find Gawin at that moment because he sees her from across the room, and then she is also wearing the purple earrings when she is looking for the building, looking for the rooftop. So yeah, it's very magical little thing there going on with her earrings.
I want to talk about her hair ties at some point, but like there is a lot to still cover with Hunning and Gawin, who I have been struggling with personally.
Because he's changes
mercurial.
Yeah, he adapts to his surroundings.
Yes. Yeah. But I think I have enough now.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot to break down.
Yeah.
Maybe next episode?
Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna try because he sort of reflects those that are around him, which is hard to like be like, oh hey, this is what he's doing. But we see a little bit of it this episode, so I'll talk a little bit about it.
Okay, cool.
In this episode, just to kind of set some expectations.
Exciting. Okay, cool. All right, so Tom's hero's journey. I'm totally throwing out the which Tom this time because I don't think we're going back. I don't think it's gonna change. He's
semi-childish, just a little bit, but not enough to like move him all that much.
Exactly. I was like, what is okay? No, we're full on heroes journeying it from here on out. Like, this is nuts. I'm blown away by this show, like absolutely blown away. So, so last week we talked about how he had his apotheosis, he had his ego death, his realization when he was kind of like reborn from, his the stuff with Hale getting beaten and waking up at the hospital, and how he was resurrected by Gorya's love. And then of course the next challenge of getting Gorya to accept him and to be with him, that's within his apotheosis stage. And that's also the ultimate boon as well, which is the fact that he is unable to be hurt by consequences.
Yeah.
He is all powerful. He is all ruling.
We see that so much in this episode.
Oh my goodness, we see that so much. So
it makes me so happy.
Yeah. So we have that with the stuff at the hotel.
Yep.
And then also towards
his
the end of the
his
episode.
will is law. His will is law.
Yeah.
Too. There's a lot of that in this episode. Whatever he asks for, he gets.
Yes. Yes.
Even from Gorya.
Yeah. Exactly. So and then towards like the end of the episode, we do get the moment where he says, "Can I just be a baby for a little while longer?"
Yeah.
And that is indicative of the refusal of the return, because heroes that finally get the golden fleece, they finally get the elixir, the boon, whatever they needed to get this immortal life, this blessing from the gods, they don't want to leave the lap of the goddess. Literally, like he doesn't want to leave the lap of the goddess. He puts himself in her lap and he doesn't want to leave. So we'll talk about that maybe more when we get to it. But
can I ask a question?
Sure.
A little speculation.
Uh-huh.
What will be the death of the mentor? Because I think I know.
I think it's gonna be the Auntie Yu leaving. Right? What do you think?
I think so. I think it may be Gorya's exile, because it could be either, right? Because Gorya's exile, she is the person that has taught him everything.
Right. But I mean,
Auntie Yu is the old mentor.
Yeah. It typically is the old mentor.
But Gorya is about to experience ego death.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Like, typically the goddess
can't die.
Yeah,
no, I know. That's why I wanted to ask, because I was like, because it could play out kind of either way as far as what gets him over this. But the third threshold is most definitely when Gorya abandons him, because he's then saved from himself.
I mean, we've talked about this before, where there's a combination of things going on, right? So the next step for Tom might be combined with the fact that he doesn't want to go, like, he doesn't want to leave the lap of the goddess, right? But Gorya is going to leave him first because she's on her own journey. So and then that will combine potentially with the so-called
Auntie Yu leaving,
right, with the death of the mentor, where that leaves Tom without support in his own home. So then that's going to move him to the next part of his journey. So it's going to be good. I'm so excited.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to see how it plays out. That's why it was like speculation time, to see how what we think based on what we know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, and so I wanted to like quickly kind of go through this, because I've had a lot of people talk to me or like message me about like resources for all of the stuff that we talk about, from the shadow stuff to Heroine's journey stuff to just archetypes and whatnot. So I wanted to like break down the hero's journey into like a simpler format for some people, because I think it's easier to understand in the 7 stages of alchemy. We kind of sort of mentioned this last episode, I think maybe we mentioned it in one of our OST deep dives, I don't remember, but that there are all of these journeys that we talk about are all related in some way. And one of the things that I find really fun to do is just to compare them and to like contrast them and find those similarities. So if you look on the left part of the screen, I have the 7 stages of alchemy, and on the right is the hero's journey. And I have color coded the steps by which parts of the hero's journey fit into which steps of the stages of alchemy. And I think that the stages of alchemy is a really cool way to look at a personal journey, because I think it's just a different lens of looking at something you go through, like some hardship that you go through. So the stages are, the first one is calcination, which is when you heat up a substance really, really hot so that it starts to break apart. And it separates into two different elements. And so that's the breaking down of the ego. So something happens to you, something bad, where you're broken apart. And then step 2 is disillusion, where you merge, you go into your own like unconscious, right? And then there's a separation. So those two things are separated now, completely separated. And you can see there's some graphics here where there's like, orange and like bluish purple that are showing kind of the separation. So that's when you organize your shadows, you figure stuff out internally,
do some shadow work, some working through your metaphorical trash bags of all of the garbage you've been carrying around with you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you sort through your own baggage, your traumas, like all that. You organize some things. Step 4 is conjunction, which is like now you've sorted those things, so it's now time to merge that unconscious stuff with your conscience.
This is where Tom is at.
This is where Tom is at. Yes. Because then the next stage is step 5, which is fermentation.
Suffering. If we're gonna suffer,
we're gonna suffer more. Exactly. And you can see again, like if you're looking at the color coding on the right is the hero's journey. So that next step in the suffering, fermentation, and whatnot, that's the refusal of the return, and then further on. So, and then the next step of alchemy is 6, which is distillation. And this is the part of like spiritual awakening and understanding. And this is where all these kinds of things, like the fermentation is done, it's starting to distill into something more pure.
And this is like the true lesson and bringing it back to the community, getting ready to bring it back to the community. Like, and so we'll probably hear a lot of like, what is the moral of this whole story as we get closer to that end, right? Like, what are we supposed to take home with us when this story is done?
Exactly. Yeah, because then after that, the final step, the coagulation, which is like the union of all of these things. It's the and then in the I love, because in the graphics I'm using, this is obviously from like more spiritual ways of looking at alchemy. The final step is this solid matter, whereas before we had something that was not so solid, something that broke down, but now we have something that's like stronger and more powerful, and it doesn't look anything like it looked like in the beginning. And this is like in most stories, like this is the last shot or like the last scene, or like it's very simple. It's very like, okay, this person is complete, they're fulfilled, they're happily ever after.
Yep.
But what it actually means is that you have now united yourself in a way that is, no, you can't take that back apart again. You are now beyond the duality that you had before. You are the master of both worlds, which is what Campbell calls it. You're the master of life and death.
Ideally, the community is also healed.
Yeah, and because then that's the external kind of effect that has. So yeah, it's. I mean,
and like in the hero's journey, the freedom to live is literally like happily ever after. That is right. Like literally, like we don't need to see these heroes anymore because they don't need to go through any sort of transformational journey. They've learned the lessons that they need to learn, and we will not be coming back to them because they're fine.
Yeah, that was the story. That was,
I know.
Yeah,
and that's hard for some people because like we heard all last week. I want nothing but more. I want a season 2, or why can't we have more?
I mean,
why can't we have more, Ty?
Because this is so mythical. The story itself is the elixir. Yep. The story itself grants us, the audience, the viewer, the ability to see beyond our own duality and to like do the work that we need to do. Yeah.
Take something home with us, right? Exactly. And we can always retell or re-listen or rewatch this story.
Exactly.
If we want to experience it again. We don't need to put these two characters through more trials to learn something new. We actually
Yeah.
want them to go and live happily ever after off in heaven and get off that train that's in the Who Am I video.
Yeah. And I know some people will say, like, oh, but I want to see them live like this happily ever after. I want to see the slice of life type of Tom and Goya. I think it's like,
Go read fan fiction.
go, yeah, go write it,
Yeah,
go read
go write
it.
it.
Like,
Go make fan art. Like, that's amazing. Go make fan edits. Go make fan like
please.
cartoons. Like, we need that. That is
Yeah.
absolutely something that we need. But I don't want to put these two characters through this suffering again. And that's the only reason you tell stories like this. Maybe
Yeah.
they'll do a special. That would be cute if they
It
did like
would.
an after special. I know some like K-dramas and other things, like they'll do like a Christmas special where we get to see what they did for Christmas or something. That would be amazing.
That would be
But
amazing. Yeah.
I won't ever demand that they go through the trials that they went through with this like ever again, because they've learned their lessons.
Yeah, I agree. Anything further than this needs to have conflict, and that doesn't fit.
I'm not interested in watching Gorya and Tom suffer any more than they need to.
Yeah, totally.
I'm not sadistic like that.
And is that realistic? No, because realistically, these two characters are going to, if you want to imagine some kind of realistic thing happening after marriage, they're going to still have issues. They're going to still have problems. Like,
yeah,
that's realism. But this is not.
Can you imagine Tom becoming a dad?
That would be fascinating. It kind of makes me think of like the Strong Girl Bong Soon ending with the two babies that are
with the
like
two babies.
Oh, that was such
like he would totally be like, I'm not going to be the CEO of this company. Gorya is going to be. I'm going to take care of my babies.
Yeah,
that's exactly what happened in Strong Girl.
Yes. Tom would have like one strap to his front, one strap to his back. I don't know why I'm imagining them now having two kids, but I guess that's just where I'm at. But yeah.
Beyond duality, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I really wanted to say like why it's important to like self-contain this story and not continue it on just for the sake of continuing it on. Means like it makes sense to continue it on if the characters still had lessons to learn, but by the end of this, they will have completed their reformation of their egos.
Exactly.
And will be better people and will bring healing to their community. And what more can we want from them? They're tired.
Exactly. Yeah, and it's gonna give us a lot. It gives us like the audience a lot. Like that's what stories do that. They give us something. So remember that at the end of this, like, did it give you a lesson? Did it give you something to take away? Did it make you feel a certain way? Like all of that, like that's giving us the elixir, like giving us the boon. So
this storytelling team has been incredibly good at making the audience who is coming along for the ride feel exactly how they need to feel as they need to feel it. And we're going to get into that a little bit with this episode because there was like a total collective unconscious thing happening this last week. You're going to hear all about it for the next little while.
Okay. Yeah. We just have to talk about we have to talk about Gorya's heroine's journey, and then we're going to talk about that.
They're going to talk about it because it's important, but I trust this storytelling team to end this story on a way that's like, and they lived happily ever after and their adventures continued, and you're free to explore that in your own imagination. I trust them.
Yes, I agree. I think it's going to be awesome. All right, so Gorya, where she's at, this is just real quick. I can't help but revisit this every week. This is probably just going to continue till the show ends, till we get to the.
I'm proud of you. I'm proud of your choices. This is good.
Thank you. But yeah, like right now, we said last week, second threshold. We are looking into the second threshold. She hasn't tumbled into it yet. At the end of this episode, presented the crisis and the failure that was needed to have her to fall through her descent to the goddess. I was shocked by this, absolutely shocked by this. We'll talk about it more then, but I just want to say that I was right and I'm like really happy about that.
I'm very proud of you as always. No, I loved what they did. Usually her house is destroyed, and I'm surprised by how they destroyed her house, and I love it. So
yeah,
it's all good. It's
delicious.
It's great. I mean, it has all of the symbolic meaning that we needed to dig our teeth into and be like, this is good soup or delicious food. Like I don't know. It's great.
She's trying to use an Adam Driver meme. Good soup.
Good soup. No, it's delicious, spiritual, like psychological, mythological food.
It's amazing. I agree. So yeah, so next episode we'll definitely get her descent to the goddess, which is what we've been waiting for. That's going to be really important for her revisiting her family and being with her mom. That's all a part of that part of her journey. That's exciting. All right, so let's get into the show. We're going to start with the dream sequence. So let's
oh my god, I need to die. Okay, when this because
okay, so well, a few things. First of all, okay, before we get into let's talk about where the fandom was this week. Let's talk
about that.
Who
I started writing fan fiction.
Me too. Mine's very different from yours, so let's be honest.
But I was like, I need this story because okay. What are you writing, Ty?
Something explicit that you guys will never be able to find unless I've already shared it with you.
Fine.
That's all I'm gonna say.
You've already told me no like 3 times, but fine.
It's actually not that bad. It fits. It's in universe. It makes sense, it's not.
You'll shoot me that link at some point when you're less embarrassed, I guess.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I've had plenty of people. I've lot of comments that have been telling. This gets us to the point of like where the fandom has been, because I got a ton of comments telling me that they were so thirsty for this content because of where the darn creators have put us. They put us here. But tell us,
we are so horny.
All of us horny. I can't monetize this, so we can be a little more explicit than usual. But tell me about yours.
Oh, sure. I love the Canada arc. I live in Canada. It's my favorite frigging story in Hana Yori Dango.
You're just like really just like, I love Canada. I'm in Canada, therefore I like the Canada arc.
It's also like fundamental on a variety of levels, including it's the first time that he takes off his clothes for her.
Yeah.
To save her life. And it's like, it's not sexual, although she thinks it is. He's literally just trying to save her life. And like he takes off his like outerwear, his big poofy jackets and his like, prince like outfit, like in the manga. But in all of the versions, this is such an important thing. And like, I love it so much. But this show has basically stripped the need for it.
Yeah. Well, so, I think that there's something interesting to be said about the way that they're creating these really fine lines for each like threshold of their relationship.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like
it's like he gets there first.
Yes.
Gorya, that's so fascinating.
Let's do this.
So if you want to read it, I've been tweeting about it, but yeah, like but okay, so that's just indicative. Both you and I we're like, we got to write some fan fiction, whatever that is for us, right? We gotta express this. We need more soft fuzzy moments, or we need more intimate moments, or we need more just straight up explicit moments.
Yeah.
right? Like, we need more. We're just ravenous. And literally everyone was commenting on how thirsty this friggin' timeline was.
It really was. We got a lot of like fan service from Bright
and 2.
Yeah, we did. It was surprising a lot of people, especially people who have been following them like before the show actually started.
They really ramped it up, and they've been flirty in their tweets and in their Instagrams.
Yep.
Like
two
so much.
Yeah, like 2 took the picture of Bright with the red robe on, and then he made it his profile picture on Twitter, and then they had cute little banter about it in Twitter. And oh my god, if you haven't seen it, go look it up. It's adorable. But it was a lot. Like, people were like, something's gonna happen this week. Something
like this is part of their marketing.
right.
And like, we found out some behind the scenes just before the episode aired.
Yeah.
Opatha, my director,
P.O.
He whispered in 2's ear before they filmed this scene, this top one, why don't you call him Little Tiger? Because I just want to talk. Like, can we just like I really want to interview you.
It does. I know, right? Please let MC interview there. So it was not like that in the subtitles.
And they like kind of like changed like when the voices came on and when like what you could see and what you could
but she says babe, she calls him babe, but people were saying that the actual thing is Little Tiger.
What's up, Little Tiger?
Yeah, which is insane. Absolutely insane.
Because people refer to Bright as a cat because of his associations with cats, and like they think of him as this little tiger in this show, and like quite literally and like shout out to Andrea Castello, who you made the little profile picture for with her and Bright.
Oh yeah, that's right.
She's like, I took it like, oh my god, a tiger in bed.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, that's what he wants to be.
Yeah, definitely.
And yeah, I'm like, his brain is, and there's more in this episode where his brain is literally like psychologically, and we've talked about like how last episode he had like Freudian slips.
Yeah.
And yeah, there's like more of that in this episode.
Yeah.
He really wants to give himself to Gorya.
Yeah. Really
in that way.
Yeah. Well, and that's what it is, right? Give himself to her. Like, it's not like he wants to take anything from her. There's no, again, she's on top.
She's on top. She's in control. It's up to her. Like, she's the one who's guiding. Consent is super sexy. Again, hey, directors around the world, learn from the master Opatha. Like, seriously.
It's pretty epic. I was shocked by this scene. I mean,
he's
like
holding the pillow when he's like waking up from his dream.
Yeah.
Between his legs.
Oh my god.
He's like clenching the pillow, like.
Yeah. Like he needs her, like right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like between his legs. Like which is where she's at in the actual dream sequence. She's like basically between his legs. Like it's yeah, it's a lot going on in this dream sequence, but it's just a dream sequence. And poor guy wakes up,
and then she beats him with a pillow.
It's so funny.
But I mean, like, I don't particularly find this violent.
No, it's actually really adorable. She's been
adorable,
really violent before. She was just violent last episode.
Yeah,
like, she actually punched him in the face and kicked him in the nuts last episode. So the fact that she hits him with the pillow is like nothing. Like this is adorable. It's cute. It's playful. The fact that she calls him out for thinking dirty things
because he was.
It's
far did
Hilarious.
that dream go, Tom?
We don't know because the pillow's between his legs. Anyways.
Yeah, exactly. But his voiceover is him explaining the problem.
Yes.
To, all right, let's go into some symbolism.
Yeah, because all of a sudden the F4 are back in their jerseys.
In their basketball jerseys. Okay. I'm obsessed with this show.
Yeah.
I need a basketball jersey.
Yeah.
I need this basketball jersey. Okay. So he is sitting down, even though he's like on the court floor, but he's in his basketball court. He's in his court with his 3 other knights who are all wearing knightly tunics. How do I know? Oh, you can see on the upper like corner over top of their hearts is their heraldry, right? Their heraldry. Over their hearts, so it's like a crest, a coat of arms.
Yep.
And in heraldry, when you have a rose, it's a rose with a star center on a field of black. When you have it, you describe it as a red rose on a field of sable. You use the word sable. Okay, what is sable?
What's sable?
It's an animal fur.
Of course.
Of a marten, which is kind of like a ferret.
Oh, interesting.
Sort of. It's like a ground animal, but they're black, and they used to use sable as black, basically on all heraldry, and so it was always called sable. And so the red rose, Tom, on a field of fur, that's his coat of arms. He is the king. They are all wearing his knightly coat of arms, and his like name of his country is F4.
Oh yeah. I think like 100% this was intentional to be like a knight's tunic. The court stuff and the knight stuff, it's all just been so thick, and then to literally have them with a coat of arms like on a court. Yes, and it's on the left part of their sleeve, like it's over their heart. Yeah, like on their heart. So I mean, come on, like this is intentional. But
and like yes, it is the symbolism
of the red card.
Of the red card.
Right.
Which we know is something that has been used as a weapon before. But this entire show uses symbols in a way by which they are meant to be transformed. And this starts from the very earliest moments of the episode, by which we have Gorya walk across the water, which is dirty and mucky, but is actually, in her vision and Tom's, a field of stars that she is walking into his like heaven court. And the stadium is not 2 seconds later, when we're in our present day storytelling, a place of horror and curse.
Exactly.
And it transforms over the course of the shows. Same with the flower on the shoes that her brother draws, turns into a meteor and has that impact on Tom. The screwdriver that Talay uses metaphorically, it can also be a weapon and can be turned back to help. Right. And this is what is showing is the ultimate transformation that is actually going to be required for the end boss, i.e. Tom's mom, to be healed, is that she has to turn her red card into something helpful and healing.
It almost makes me think that we're going to get some sort of like symbolic irony with the end. It will be so cathartic and so satisfying to have all of these things come back into play at the very end in order to topple the mom, right? In order to outsmart the mom, because
like maybe all of the past defeated villains, Hana, like maybe even Mira, like Mona, like I don't know, like everybody comes back and helps would be so symbolic too. But like I just want to say, like the greatest symbolic transformation, the greatest symbol of transformation is actually to help a symbol or have a symbol be reframed because of the healing that the characters go under within the series.
Right.
And yeah, their branding is crap right now because they used to be like these terrible people in the school and they used to be under a curse, but it's just the same as using the screwdriver as a weapon versus a tool.
Yeah.
Now their symbol needs to represent the wise King Tom and his just and virtuous court.
Absolutely. And the you know, the like in Hana Yori Dango lore, generally the school creates a like the little place where they like sit and they kind of rule their kingdom. They make that, at least in Hana Yori Dango 2005, they make that permanently like the F4 lounge. I don't remember if it happens in the manga, but in every single version there is a version of that happening where the school maintains the rule of law of the F4 even after they graduate.
Yeah.
Always after they graduate. So the F4 consistently come back to the school. They continue to rule the school even though they don't technically go there anymore. So to me, this is again just that there's no reason for them to wear these outfits because they graduated. They don't go to the school anymore. There's no reason for them to put these on except for the fact that they still have power over the court, over the
and the court is expanding to the world. That's also
Yes.
important, like to
Yes.
Thailand, to Bangkok, to the world. He is
Yeah.
his power as divine king is spreading.
Absolutely.
And these are his 3 knights under him, and they show that with how they react. He's literally brought them a king's problem. Look, my wife doesn't want to kiss me.
What do I need to do? I love that
Yes.
MJ also like calls himself a professor. He's like, listen to Professor MJ, like,
Yes,
I'll teach you what to do.
Yeah. And so like he offers to Gawin, but Gawin's like, I got my own problems.
Yeah, Gawin he's not participating. It's really
anything
adorable.
to do with love is just like nope.
Yep.
But MJ teaches him like the most perfect lesson, and it syncs with what Tom knows about his love with Gorya. And Pavani pointed this out to me just in DMs. She's like, oh my god, they're playing Gorya's game.
Yeah. Kill me now about this whole basketball thing. What the heck, show? What the heck?
Like
Killing me.
Like
they gave here's my theory. They gave the basketball stuff to the KFC commercial. This is my theory. I think this has actually happened. I think that they were going to have stuff in the show.
Yeah.
But
they were like,
they wrote it out. Yep, they put it in the KFC commercial.
But it is Gorya's language, right? So they're communicating in Gorya's language. So then it works later when he tells her this story and explains it and gives the gift of something. And it's all based on acts of service.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
And he has to relearn the lesson, because sometimes you have to relearn lessons, because he knew this fundamentally, but he has to relearn it. But he messes it up to start because he thinks a literal gift is what she needs.
Yeah. Well, and it's the relearning the lesson is like you had it taught to you, but you didn't really
incorporate it into yourself.
Yeah. Like you heard it and you understood it, but you didn't actually put it inside. So yeah, he has to
imagine you want something from Ren. You have to pass him the ball first. It's just like the Band-Aid lesson. It's like the bandaging each other's like wounds. It's quid pro quo from the second episode. And so Tom understands this, but then
he only
steals Ren's idea.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. But Tom only knows this in terms of conflict. So he reacts to conflict by taking what was given to him and passing it on.
Yeah.
That's the best way that he dealt. That's Hana, that's Hale, that's the bandage, that's every single thing. How he reacts to conflict is he takes what was given to him and he passes it on. But the problem here is that there is no conflict except for the fact that he wants something that she's not giving him. So MJ's like, well, you have to give her something first
so that she has something to give to you. Yeah, exactly. It's so good. And so yeah, Ren's like, what about a surprise party? And instant regret.
Immediately he's like, why did I just say that? Why did I give him that idea?
Like shout out to the direction, shout out to the writing. Like we know where Ren is at. He's gonna challenge Tom sometime.
He has to. I keep thinking
they're not getting away from it, so he has to it's left hanging in the air, and he has these subtle little moments where he's just like, I am there for Gorya. And so when Tom cannot be there for Gorya, he's going to challenge Tom's right to be there for Gorya when he wants to be back.
By the end of this episode, 100%, I was like, yes, we're getting it. We're gonna get back.
It. Yeah,
we're gonna get it. It's gonna be amazing. I mean, again, guys, this is not.
I had no doubt last episode.
Well, I had a little bit of a doubt just because, like, again, I didn't really know how many plot points they were going to try to hit, but I'm thinking now that this the way that they're combining certain things, I think that it's going to make perfect sense. But I just want to say, like, it's not a traditional love triangle. This is about these are now like three different heroes on their own journeys. I've said this before, but just like with every other character in the show, we could plot Ren's hero's journey and it would be just as interesting and just as fulfilling as the main characters. The thing with Ren is that his journey with Gorya is, we talked about this in the Wind discussion, is that he is her knight, he is her Lancelot, and there is unresolved romantic feelings there, stuff that he didn't get to experience, that kind of thing with him. But all of that's going to be resolved very quickly if they do this, which they're going to do this. It's going to be resolved very quickly. It's not going to linger, but it's going to be intense. So I'm excited for that. So he says that they should do a party, and then Tom's like, yes, absolutely, let's do it. And then we cut to him telling Gorya how to set up her own surprise party, which of course that's where Tom is at. And I love his jacket here because it's so pink.
Yeah, it has we know pink. That when he wears multiple colors, he feels like he has his peeps behind him.
Yep.
Like that's very evident. But he's also like kind of in black, and he's standing on chairs, so he's the armchair tyrant briefly. It's not enough to really point out, but briefly. And he's coated in pink because he's like, I'm doing something wonderful, but it's not mature, it's childish.
It is childish. He's also the same colors as the balls that they're gonna throw in the pool. Like it's very childish. He like makes a ball pit, it's very funny. But and then we get the F3 behind him kind of reacting to all of this, and Gavin is very distracted once again. He doesn't want anything to do with it, and he kind of just abruptly leaves. So then we go to the flower shop. Flower shop owner says, can you spare a moment of your time to work here? Treats her like royalty, or he at least like mocks her a little bit. Yeah, because he knows her position now. And then we get Hunting spraying hydrangeas, which is Gawain's flower.
Yep,
of course, because she's still thinking about him, and she is trying to basically like water their relationship, cultivate their relationship, like all of that all
Yeah.
the symbolism.
She's trying to grow him and like
Help him.
help
Now,
him.
because now she knows, like now she has his story, and
Yeah.
she's like, how do I make this blossom? Like, what do I do with this? Ugh. So
Yep. And we get the second half of where they left us off.
yes, where they didn't kiss, which is what we said last week. Yeah.
Yeah, like they're never gonna kiss.
Yeah.
Like I hear, right?
Yeah, not here. Yeah.
But it was because like she kind of flinched at his over aggression a little bit. Like he pulls back.
So this is the equivalent of all the other versions that have the hotel scene in it.
Yeah.
So this is where this character, the Gawin character, pushes her to the absolute last moment. He gets them a hotel room, he takes her up there, and then she like takes off her clothes, and then he kind of leans in to initiate, and she kind of has a very similar reaction, reaction of like, I want to do this, but I don't want to do it at the same time. Like I'm scared, essentially. And he always backs off, and he kind of laughs, and he's like, see, I knew you couldn't do it. You're not that kind of girl. This is the same thing. It's just it's not in a hotel room. It's not sex. It's a kiss. And it's the same reaction, especially from a hormonal teenager point of view, and the way that she's like, oh God. I'm not ready for it. I wasn't ready for it.
Yes. And he kind of calls her bluff, but it's like in a very particular way.
Yeah, because she would, this isn't every version, she would have done whatever he wanted to do, but he steps back first after seeing her be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Because he's trying to teach her a lesson. He's trying to show her and to prove to her that he is
a monster.
Yeah, exactly. He's a monster. And we'll see, he's not worthy of love, and love doesn't come easy to him, and all of these things that is gonna
blah blah blah. Gawin.
Exactly.
I will never commit anyone. It will end in a one-night stand. Are you trying to scare me? Yeah. Yeah. And like she calls him out.
Yeah.
The same way that Gorya called out the monster side of Tom.
After Tom kidnaps Gorya.
Yeah.
Yep. Same conversation.
Same, like, I'm going to stand up to you, monstrous man. This ends up being a monstrous lost husband story, mythically.
Yeah. And so that conversation though is saying, I can see right through what you're doing. I know exactly what you're doing.
Like, you would take me home and like we would have sex if you actually were the monster that you think you are, but you're actually protecting me by warning me away.
Exactly. Yeah. You're the one who stopped this. Not me.
Yeah. You're the one who's like actually trying to protect me in a weird, twisted way.
Exactly. And I love that she says, I know I'm not good enough for you, which that's so far from Gawin's mind. I love that Gawin kind of laughs at this. He's like, that's not what it is.
It's not what it is.
Yeah. But she says, I just want to understand. I want to know why you're like this. Because she sees right through all of the stuff that he's putting up. So
absolutely.
So he does say, this is when he goes into the story, and they're intercutting this with what's going on with Tom and Gorya, which is absolutely brilliant.
It was great.
It was so great. He says that I did like, I was vulnerable once with a girl. I did love a girl once. And then we go to Tom trying to plan this party.
Okay.
The
Yes.
balloon.
Yes. Okay. I have so much to say. I have so much to say. Before we get into Tom, I have a bell hooks quote for us.
Sure.
So again, from the Will to Change, which
Yeah.
I highly recommend to everybody, but bell hooks actually talks about sex as a way for men to try to connect with their emotions, right? But it's all from a like people that replace sex, men especially, that replace sex from having genuine emotional connection are actually using it from a place of dominance and not equality. Right. They want the single serving like connection, but they feel like the more that they can have this intimacy, it will replace having genuine connection with their own emotions. And so bell hooks says, we've all heard the notion that men come to a relationship looking for sex, not love, and that women come to a relationship looking for love, not sex. In actuality, men come to sex hoping it will provide them with all of the emotional satisfaction that would come from love. Most men think that sex will provide them with that sense of being alive, connected, and that sex will offer closeness and intimacy and pleasure that they lack from their genuine connections.
That's why Gawin does what he does.
Yes.
He's looking for emotional connection to fulfill that lack of real true commitment and the connection that he actually wants.
Exactly. And it
He's
is
getting pieces of it.
Sex in this way, the way he uses it is violent.
Yeah, because it's
about domination.
Yeah.
It's about taking something
right
from somebody else and then leaving them.
They don't explicitly do that in this version.
No.
Because they do show him having these one night stands with kind of these
but he lies to them.
Women.
He's like, I like you, and then doesn't.
That's true. They do show that, right? That's right.
And he says that. He's like, I will tell them that I like them back, and then I will leave them after they've given me what they want, like what I want.
That's violent. Yeah.
This is violence.
Right.
And I know that this might be controversial to some people.
Emotional violence.
It is emotional violence. Like he is lying to himself and others, and it all comes down to the fact that he has like sliced out that part of himself. He has mutilated himself that wanted genuine connection to his emotions.
And where is that part of himself?
With
Mona.
Yeah.
And that's super, super, super important for where the story goes.
Yeah. And he's experiencing some serious things, which we will get into when we see him. Yeah.
Yes. So
okay, sorry, I just had to derail a tiny
amount. I love it. I love that we established that.
Really important because people don't always view sex as violent, but it's why we have such a culture, a rape culture in most patriarchal cultures, and how Gawin uses sex is violent. So that's all.
It contributes to the cycle of violence, feeding into what you said, like rape culture and whatnot. Yeah, absolutely. And again, we've talked about this before. Like these are 4 monsters. I mean, they all are monsters in their own way.
All are monstrous in their own way. And we might have to wait until the end to show that, because I don't know how much time we have, but it is valuable to look at the little monsters that they were in the beginning.
Yes, definitely. It'll be interesting to see the full circle, which this particular episode handles Gawin's transformation beautifully.
Yes.
Oh my God. But all right, so let's go to the party balloons.
Okay.
Like,
flag shirt.
Yes, flag shirt.
He's ready to travel the world and beyond. He's ready to continue on his journey with Gorya. He's ready. Go to Europe.
Yeah, right. Because like I looked up, I did reverse image search it earlier this week because I just needed to know. I thought it was like ship flags, like nautical flags at first, because some of them are
He's
not.
trying to
Like,
signal him.
yeah,
Try
I
to
thought
signal.
that
No,
signal.
he just wants to travel on
Yep,
his journey. He's ready to
he
travel.
he's ready to take on the world. The shirt is a Balenciaga. It's got like 3 different flags on it that are the Balenciaga symbols or in the brand name in different ways.
Mhm.
So that's why some of them are like not recognizable. The others are just European flags, and then there's a rainbow flag on there as well. So
Yep.
he is ready to go.
He is ready to go, and he is struggling with a balloon decision. Why balloons, Ty?
No, it's not what I was expecting.
Oh, I know.
Well, I mean, like the color thing is
Oh, the color thing
everyone
is
will know. Everyone will know
when he
colors, but
said green is her favorite color, I died.
yeah.
I
Yeah.
died.
I pretty much died. I was like, are you kidding me? You're actually saying it. Like,
Thank you for being explicit when we've been
sub
just talking about this whole time. Thank you.
subtext is for the weak.
Yep. Okay, so first the colors. Green is her favorite color, but white is so much prettier because
Because
she
she's
is
a
his star
star.
bride.
Yes.
And the balloons will raise her up towards heaven.
I like that. I did read that in your notes and I was like, oh, that's funny.
But no, like balloons are like anything that lifts her up higher. He's constantly trying to lift him and
Yeah.
F4 lift her up all the time because she's
Yeah.
like, well, are you ready to be a star now? And they keep on like trying.
Yeah.
But in this episode, she misses all of the lifting up signals even.
Yeah, because she has to go further down into her own depths first
Before she can go. But they're
up.
like, are you ready to go up now?
Yeah.
Are you ready to go up? And they keep on trying to bring her up to heaven.
Yeah. Oh,
it's
and
cool.
I want to briefly mention the fact that both of us, you and I both thought that she was going to leave at the end of this episode. We were arguing, not aggressively, but we were like telling people, no, she's gonna leave at the end of this episode. She's gonna leave.
Wrong.
And we both thought like the outfit that's the white shirt and the green pants that she's gonna wear eventually.
Yeah.
Hopefully next episode. We thought that was going to be this episode. We thought all that was going to be this episode, and it didn't happen. So
I don't think they're going to Singapore any longer.
I think that's so funny. I think there's still room for it.
Okay. I really hope I'm wrong. I'm like,
I don't care either way, but
I mean, I trust them, but like, I was like, wow, they really spend the time for the emotional steps that they need to make this hero and heroine's journey happen.
Yeah.
I'm happy with that, no matter what.
They're breathing their way through the story. We talk about like breathing room a lot. Like when you and I talk about stories, like, I mean, breathing room is not just like a pacing thing. It's a way for the characters to reflect on their internal journey, because a lot of the time, especially in Western media, we forget that the internal journey is just as important, if not more important, than the external journey. So breathing room is a way for these characters to take a moment and think about what's happening internally, to be able to do the internal work and to push on and to be more powerful and to be more understanding and knowing and all of that. So
and before the director and the creators and the writers destroy us emotionally in the end, they really did need this breathing room. And literally the audience, like on Twitter especially, was like begging for fluff, begging for sweet moments, begging for kisses. Like, we're like, do we have the time for this rest? And yeah, they do, as long as they're strategic about what they choose to do. And I really hope they go to Singapore and they have the space for that. But
I mean, they resolved the entire Hunning and Gawin arc
in one episode.
Episode. Yeah. So
I know. I'm like, will there be a kiss? This is my new, will there be a kiss? Will there be Singapore?
That's so funny. I love it. I
hope so.
I don't doubt that they could fit in Singapore if they wanted to. And that will be the key at the end of this, whether or not they want to, whether or not they think it's important. So
Can we
yeah.
talk about the green pillow on her lap that he uses later?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Where'd this green pillow come from?
This has not been in this room.
This is
ever.
a new pillow.
Yeah, this is a new pillow.
This is Gorya's influence on the house. She's like moved in. This is her pillow.
You know what's weird though? I think that in a later shot when he sits in her or he lays down in her lap that there is the hotel embroidery on it.
I checked, it's not.
It's not? What is it
No,
then?
it's just a symbol.
Oh, is it like an
Just a-
RL? Is it like a Ralph Lauren pillow? Because the other pillows
It
on the other
could-
couch are Ralph Lauren.
It could be, yeah.
Okay, never mind. All right. So it's
Yeah.
probably the Ralph Lauren. Because on the other couch, there's definitely Ralph Lauren pillows. Anyways.
But it's specifically a green pillow because she has started to change the house and this is her pillow. This is like she moved her socks into his bedroom. Like she brought over underwear and a change of clothes. Like this is her. She's the queen here. And even how he's acting, he's like tiptoeing around her because he's like, because he's trying to surprise her. But
I love that he was like,
yeah,
telling them as long as Gorya doesn't hear that I'm having this conversation, as long as she doesn't hear this conversation, how could she know I'm having a party? And then he sees her and he's like, oh crap, I didn't know she was right there, but she's distracted, so she doesn't hear the conversation, and it's so cute.
And they're adorable. And he's like, he immediately like puts aside the party and is like, I'm so proud of Gorya.
Yeah.
Like it's the next moment, I think, when we go to the next little bit. And she's like, I'm gonna genuinely tell you what's going on. I'm gonna communicate with you and tell you, this is what's bothering me.
Yeah, I'm worried about her, and he's constantly asking her, like, are you stressed? Like, is this making you more stressed? Am I making you more stressed? Like, he's suddenly aware.
He's very wise. I was shocked.
Very wise. Yeah,
he's very like, I know what's going on and I'm here to help, and I'm going to tell you that you can't interfere with other people's journeys. I've learned that lesson.
Yeah.
So I keep on trying to tie balloons to bring you to heaven with me.
I mean, honestly, this is just again illustrating that he is through more thresholds in his journey than she has been with hers, and like she hasn't learned the big lessons yet. She's still behind in a way. So so he tells her like that's something to do with Mona, and she's like, who? Gowen's ex? Like, is she the one who turned him into a player? And he's like,
okay, I freaked out.
Yeah,
I freaked out at this. So
I love this so much. It's different from the other versions.
It is
so good.
It's an important change because in the other versions, Mona broke his heart and then he became a womanizer.
Yes.
Ooh. And it sort of just blames femininity, which is playing into that patriarchal, like fictitious mythology around how men only become evil because of women.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Tom's like, nah, he was a player before. She just helped him be a player.
Yeah.
Wow. This is showing that his curse is actually something that has been with him his whole life, much like patriarchy.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the magical power of women is to blame for so many things in our world and in our cultures. So for her to have been a helper, in his little game, and to not judge him for it, and to be by his side, and all of that, like, it's just very funny and whimsical almost. So it like whimsical as in like it's kind of like this really funny little fairy tale, like in like a romantic comedy way. Like, it's just so cute.
Well, like, and like we almost saw kind of a version of this in Business Proposal, which we're both watching like kind of on the side for fun. Fake dating. Like he uses Mona as like his real wife, but she's his fake wife, obviously, right? But that's the whole
initial premise of
right. And then he's
proposal.
challenged by somebody, and he's
Yep.
wearing his Maison Kitsune
Mm-hmm.
shirt, his House of Seduction shirts.
Yep.
And he,
Wears it a couple times in this episode. In the
yeah,
flashbacks. In the flashbacks.
in the flashbacks. Yeah.
Mhm.
And she dresses in her like very like
It's very like
old,
preppy.
yeah.
It's like
And
slightly preppy, slightly old school kind of
but
thing.
what's super interesting is like sometimes men like feel like they need women's approval to be terrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like this is okay, you're coming along with me. Like he almost doesn't want to do his player thing without her kind of helping him do it.
Yeah. Well, if you ever seen like in the show New Girl, there's an episode dedicated to the idea of the emotional fluffer.
Right.
So
Yeah,
she's
yeah,
his like
exactly.
emotional fluffer. Like she's
Like
the one who
she
gives
feeds
him
him emotionally.
Yep, exactly.
She's literally he's dating her emotionally, but then like playing around.
Yep. So he gets his
And
physical stuff from other people, but yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
And he's not willing to like pass that barrier of like their relationship.
Yeah. Because and literally like the barrier is his fingers to not actually kiss her. And this is like such a trope of, I don't want to lose you as a friend, therefore I won't cross that line with you because I don't want to be rejected, because if I do go there, like I will not only be rejected, but I will also lose you as a friend. So
yeah, I can't double lose you.
yeah, exactly.
That's always the fear. Like, but the relationship will change no matter what. Right.
Yeah.
Because of the feelings that you both have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
all right. Why don't you use Tom? You would make a cute couple. She's like, I'm not gonna do this anymore. And I was like, oh, together food. Yeah.
Oh, it was so good. It was
fanfic
so good.
food.
It was
Thank
such
you.
fanfic food. Yeah, it's
yeah.
bright win shipping, wonderful moment. It's so cute. And he's wearing he's wearing a Maison Kitsune sweater here. Just to show us that that's where he's at. And also I wanted to point out the fact that they put his hair over his forehead, which classic trope to try to make someone look younger.
Yeah, more
right?
innocent too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Covering that forehead is going to make him look younger. Pushing the hair back makes him look a little bit older. So, and then we go back to Tom and Gorya talking about, again, he's just still telling her the story. And he says they would actually they would have made a perfect couple. And then they show that Kavin
tickling and that they're physical with each other.
Yep.
But they never cross this sort of confirmation line.
Yeah, I love too that she helped him swipe through like
women.
Tinder. Yeah. Like on like dating apps. Like
Yeah.
she helped him do that. And again, that's if anybody has like, that kind of relationship with the somebody, that is the opposite sex or not, like if you did like them at some point, then that does create very weird boundaries because it is a very personal thing. So that was an interesting detail.
And we also get the shot of her taking a picture of him, and that ties to camera symbolism.
Yeah.
Do you know what that is?
I mean, I'm sure
it's used throughout this episode quite heavily.
Capturing memory. Well, memories is the thing that she talks about later, so that seems to be kind of the important symbol for this episode. But if you had more,
it has to do with like sort of wishes, and that you wish to capture their heart, right? You wish to capture them, similar to the throwing of the garland. Like, they're yours if you can kind of like hang on to them from an image perspective. And it's about timing too, and that's used throughout
Right. The
this
whole
episode and
show too.
the
Yeah.
whole show, but
Right.
specifically this episode. And when her camera breaks, because she
Right.
can no longer capture
Capture.
this as a memory to
Mhm.
revisit in her mind.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So, and then we get the weird conversation between them two, which
About night.
no, before that.
Oh,
So he says, you know, if I had a girlfriend, you'd be the one missing out.
yeah.
And then she kind of flirtatiously responds, like, you think you're a national treasure? And then she says the same thing back to him, like, if I had a boyfriend, you would be the one missing out.
Mm-hmm.
This is like, they're already kind of crossing the line in a way.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course, then the boyfriend is mentioned.
And his name
is Night. Yes.
is Night. Okay.
Yes.
Why is his name Night? Oh, because he has challenged Gawain.
Yeah. I've been saying that he's Gawain.
Yeah, he is. Gawain.
Yeah.
He is the knight that has challenged this courtly love, this
Right.
for her favor.
Right.
Literally coming on stage, like into challenge Gawain.
Yeah. Yeah, he's like the Black Knight who comes
Yeah.
up and challenges, or like it's like one of those, it's just one of those
and he
knights.
like he almost like acts like Gawain's like, I'm not a knight, I'm a magician. And like backs right off. Like,
yeah, I'm not here to fight these people. Like I'm too good for this. Like why is this guy trying to challenge me? He can have you. I don't need this. I don't need you.
Yeah.
Instantly is offended, and like he says to her, it's almost worse than telling her that, oh, you're just easy, right? Because that's what I thought he was going to say. I thought he was going to say, oh, no, you're just easy, like, if you're going to
go have fun. You stay safe, little girl. Like, yeah, that's almost like what he says.
Don't forget to use protection. And he says it sarcastically. And then she immediately gets upset because she's like, why wouldn't you be nice to me about this? And he said, don't act all innocent. When a guy asks you on a trip with him, what do you think it means? You already know what that means. And she was like, no, that's not fair. I don't know what that means. And she's, of course, she's totally in the right, because, you know, player knows a player type of thing, right? Like, Gawain sees what Knight has done, booking a trip for them to, she doesn't know what's going on. He's mad for multiple reasons. He's mad at Knight, he's mad at Mona, he's mad at himself. And he's acting out on that because he's like, I'm a player, like I do this all the time. How can you not see this?
Yeah, you participate in my playing.
Yeah.
How can you be so innocent to this? Like, yeah.
We've been playing this game with each other. How can you be so ignorant? And it just makes him so mad. But she stands up to him in her own way. And she follows him to the club because he's, of course, that's where he's
playing more.
Yeah, he's gonna go get his like fix, get his weird fix of random women. And
he's attempting to get the emotional, like, connection to his emotions, because that's the only way he can get it.
Yeah. Oh,
especially yeah, what?
Sorry, I was just thinking, like, if we get like a Gawain and Honey kiss, like I will just die. Like, anyways, okay, I can't think of it. All right. So, but yeah, and then we get the Mona shows up and they kind of fight in the club.
Yeah.
And he breaks her camera. Yeah. Because
everything came to ruin.
Yeah. Yeah, he totally rejects her there because he doesn't think like he thinks he's unworthy of being loved already.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, there's no way this girl would like me, you know, she's with somebody else, you know, all that. She's not going to stay in a room with me. She wants to stay in a room with this other guy. And so he's already made up his mind about Mona's feelings without asking her, and then pushes her away physically. She breaks her camera in the process. And it's very interesting because she never replaces the camera.
No.
Do you notice that? Like, even when she visits him later,
Mm-hmm.
she is taking pictures on her phone. She never replaces the camera. So we know that, like, this is something she liked to do
With him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
and this is like where this ties to the, like, sort of, you can't go back in time.
yeah,
Like, you can't relive the past. You can't, like, you only really have like the one shot at this.
yeah, absolutely.
And that's like where camera metaphors are, like, although digital photographs have gotten so much better, cameras, etc., to be able to capture, like, they capture like almost like a video, and it's a bunch of photographs all together, and you can like kind
Right.
of select what you want. But older cameras, you had to be there, and you have to be present, and you have to wait, and you have to be there at the right time.
Right.
And that's a big metaphor for this episode.
Totally. Yeah. So once the lens is cracked, then there's almost no going back at that moment.
And
But
he says something.
Oh yeah, this was infuriating in the moment, but we do
Yeah.
get the resolution later, which is, he says, "I like you.
You happy?
Are you happy? Are you happy now?"
Yeah.
Because he is upset that he has had to say it out loud. He is upset that he has to, like, actually show his own vulnerability and his own feelings. He's mad about it.
Bell Hooks has a lot to say about this.
I'm sure. Please tell me, because, like, there is something so interesting about his transformation when he's not mad about having to share his feelings at the end of this with Hunting. So
It's because men need to love to be loved. Because a lot of the time, women feel like, if I love you more, you'll become the good man that I always wanted you to be, who's in touch with your emotions. But men need to learn how to love others and themselves first before they can truly accept love.
Yeah. Well, and that's all that dominance thing, right? It's overcoming, like,
it's because love is a gift to others and to yourself, and you can't accept that until you learn how to give of yourself.
Yeah.
We saw that with Tom's journey.
Yeah.
He needed to go down that path first before Gorya could love him and he could accept that love.
Absolutely. Oh, it's so precious. It makes me think of, again, the steps of alchemy. This is one of the reasons why I wanted to bring it up, is that in Gawin's journey, you can see this breaking down.
Yeah.
And then he gets stuck. Like, he gets stuck in kind of the separation area.
Yeah. Where he's like kind of trying to lead a life of like an upstanding person to F4 and what his kingdom needs as his magician self, but is unable to marry that with what his internal needs are.
Exactly. Yeah. And all he has to do is take those parts that he's already separated and integrate them.
Yep.
And he actually kind of does it by the end of this episode.
He's well on his way. He doesn't want to say anything out loud, but yes, he is certainly well on his way.
Yeah, he does progress. So we go back to Hunting, and she's crossing off locations on her little notebook of the places she's been. As soon as I saw that, I started crying. Just because I like the way that they did this in this series is just so powerful compared to others.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it was so powerful. They showed
the little shot of the garland and how it's drying out and
yeah.
it's no longer fresh.
Yeah, her like love has dried up, or her plan, I guess, because like she wanted to give that to him, and I think I wrote down, yeah, her love, it's like her love confession. She can't get him with flowers alone. She has to work to climb his wall. It's a different challenge than what she was expecting.
Yeah.
So she tosses that aside and she's like, this is not how I win him.
There isn't, and I think that she also realizes that like love is about doing something for someone regardless of whether it'll be returned.
Yeah. Because she realizes that she has to get down to like what happened with him and Mona. She wants to do this for him, not for them, not for her.
It's selfless. It's more of a selfless, like, I expect nothing in return.
Yep, exactly.
I just want to see you be at a better place.
And that's every other version, except the fact that in this version, her selfless journey is acknowledged by him.
Yeah.
Whereas in other versions, it's not. So
he's very frustrated by it too. He's like, oh, it's like,
how dare you?
How dare you? You know, like, yeah. Exactly. It's great.
To break down my wall. So then we go back to the car again. After that day, Mona disappeared from my life.
Oh, can I just talk about 6 a.m.? A new dawn, new love, new chance.
Yes.
All of that stuff.
Yeah, a new light. I
new light.
Yeah.
See you in a new light. All of that.
Yeah, totally.
Very quickly. Didn't take long.
Then we get so we're back in the car. Love can be a beautiful thing. It's just not for, but it doesn't apply to me. That's what he says.
Yeah.
He said that this was in the trailer. And then Hunning is obviously emotional about this, and she is still thinking about him. Her dad comes to her, gives her some yogurt to eat, because gives her product placement. And then
stay thin, dear. I hate the yogurt commercials.
Why do we keep doing that? So
but
annoying.
It reminds her of him touching her nose, and so it inspires her to go and climb all of the buildings in downtown Bangkok.
Yes, and it's epic. It's so epic. I love that she has that moment in her head, and she's like, you know what? I think he does. I think that he has this inside of him. Like, he is a good person, and he deserves to be loved. And she doesn't know how to express that to him, except for to finish this task, right?
And in a way, like, he deserves to know he was loved in the past as well, and so he could be loved in the future. And that's
but she doesn't know
that yet, right? But the service is what is important. And this is the show keeps on saying that, like, acts of service are really, really important in relationships.
Yes, totally. I thought this was really epic, the way that she is going through the city and crossing off the buildings, and it just really shows how much of a labor of love it really is. And the other versions just don't, it doesn't hit the same way. It's just, it's so epic. It's almost equivalent to the scene with the funeral, and how all of the families are coming together, and how like epic that was with the music and everything. This to me felt very similar in the way that they chose to show it. They just really took something that is classically Hana Yori Dango, and they made it feel special. It made it feel bigger, and it made it feel more weighty and important. So I love it. All right, now
there was one moment just before the party where Gavin says something about bad news, and so it really doubles down on the fact that he didn't want to open the mystery box of her feelings because of his own self-doubt, and he he thought it would be bad news. Because what other news could be given to him? And it's just the curse and this like depression that he's under.
Right. That makes
Right.
sense.
That's like that self-talk to say, I don't deserve to be loved.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right, party time. MJ
Party
capturing
time.
Gorya to bring her to the party. And
so funny.
Oh my God, can we talk about their clothes?
Yeah. This was so funny. Like Tom's outfit alone is just
worth the price of admission.
I could like write sonnets about it. It's so perfect.
It's green because green is Gorya's favorite color. It also the the sort of knit that's over top of it produces green stars because he's trying to tell her, "You're my green star bride. I love you."
But it's also black because like this is he's not necessarily like making the best decisions and he's not necessarily going about this the right way.
And also like doing this in this way at this time is a step behind where she is.
Right. She's
right.
She's not
chess metaphors.
Yeah, she's in white.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then MJ is wearing a shirt that says "More Joy," which if anyone's ever listened to my Star Wars podcast, one of my favorite things is like the concept of seeking joy.
Yeah.
And he is literally like, I'm here for the love of my friends. And I just want my friends to be loved. And I want them to feel appreciated. And MJ like stole my heart this episode with his just like, I'm here for everybody.
I'm here for everyone. I want everyone to feel good and feel good about themselves. Yeah. He's so wonderful. I
promise I will do a who, what, where on MJ.
Yeah. Soon. MJ's good. MJ's a good one to do.
He's so good. And
what
then
about Ren? Ren's outfit is fascinating.
I love it.
I think this is the ultimate like
Ren outfit.
I think it's telling us what's going on in his head.
It literally is.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think?
I mean, I think that he's falling for Gorya.
Yeah.
I think that he's perceptive about what she's going through right now, more than what Tom is. I think that he's seeing through all of this and he wants to support them. He wants to support them however he can. So he's doing that. But ultimately, he's falling in love with her.
So his shirt is blue, right?
Right.
Overwhelmingly blue, which is his true color.
Right.
We've seen this throughout the show. And then it has this like beige to it. And it's got this pink that is like pushing gently, like through. wafting towards the beige. And Gorya is also wearing blue on her shoulders, which shows the protection that Ren has for her over our emerging star bride. With stripes of red, which is obviously over top of it, i.e. what Tom is.
Right. Ren's also wearing black pants.
Yeah. We know when Ren wears black because he's a black knight.
He's a black knight. He's willing to go up against Tom and to challenge him.
Yeah.
So and Ren doesn't wear black pants a lot. Like
no.
So
he normally wears
a choice.
beige.
Yeah. That's a choice.
Yeah. Beige and a deeper brown too.
Totally.
Like, what is this show?
Yeah, it's it's funny. It's really funny. So the guys go off to film the next surprise. Like this a big surprise. Tom notices that Gorya is distracted, so he tries to get her attention
with a Escola
product placement, and
then like open this box, and she gets an immediate text finally from Hanning and misses the balloon pop-up of his
face
hand up with his heart fingers.
Yes, he has
Heart
heart
hands.
fingers. Yeah, it's so cute. It's so adorable. I didn't capture it completely here, but yeah, he had the little cardboard cutout of Tom pops up.
But
Oh,
the
it's so
balloons
cute.
raise him up towards her, like, you know, because this is
Yep.
how he feels. And then he drags her over to the projector screen and says, like, now watch this amazing, like, a slideshow presentation.
Oh my God. I wrote down, oh God, where is it? Tom PowerPoint presentation master.
Yes.
Like, he made a PowerPoint
to tell her
essentially.
to my shooting star with a picture of her face, Gorya. And she misses the messages because of timing, because Gorya is messaging her.
Yep.
And we get like the cutest like little slideshow, but then she rushes off and he chases after her and she pushes him into the pool because like they're not in sync and he's not where she needs him to be.
Yes.
And then we get this like quick shot of the 3 photos of the maid outfit.
Oh yes.
And one is entirely focused on her breast.
It is. It's like not even, yeah, her face is not in the picture. It's just of her chest and that's it. Yeah. Which
and
you're
we
like,
get
who
like
took this?
heart Gorya with the sky
in the
message.
In the sky.
Because again, raising up Gorya, trying to bring her to the sky. He's trying to make her his star bride. But in conclusion, Ty, he wants to lose his virginity to her.
Yeah.
This is what this is all saying symbolically.
He's like, if I could just do, because he doesn't just want to kiss now. He's like, if I do this and this and this, then it can get us past all of these steps that we have to go through. So then we could just, go to all of it.
And because she's not there on the journey, she can't see the messages.
No, she's not quite there. I love also that the love Gorya, like the heart Gorya in the sky, is also the same message that we get later of like heart Kavin. I
had that note down too. I love it too. I'm like, well, this is how you say you love somebody. You don't say I love you.
Yes.
You just heart Gorya.
Yes. Totally.
Yeah, he wants to give her a different kind of red card. He wants to give her his V card.
He does. He wants to give her his V card. I love it. I love it so much. He's trying though, and he's being respectful. And what's really funny is that so after he gets pushed in the pool, he comes after her completely drenched, which is hysterical because
so funny.
We were trying to figure out
why is he in a bathrobe? Why is he at a hotel? What is going on in this show? Oh, well, this makes sense because literally he would follow her anywhere that she needed him.
Oh, totally.
Right?
Yeah. And for those that don't know, there was a image that was like, I guess it was leaked, but it wasn't leaked. I think maybe it was on an article or something where he was in the bathrobe from the hotel. So we were trying to figure out why were they in a hotel and why was he in a bathrobe? And it was just this whole conversation of ridiculous theories as to why this would have happened. This kind of matches some of the theories, which is so funny because we said that it was Gorya's fault.
It was good. I said Gorya spills something on him and he has to take off all his clothes. And I mean, close enough.
It was very close.
But okay, so Hana has gone to the hotel, is about to be arrested because the key thing about typically, especially in folklore and lost husband stories, and I'm going to get into which one I think this one most resembles, but it's got a lot of lost husband generalities. Is that there's specific rules you need to follow in the game of love. Right? And if you don't follow them, you get waylaid.
Right.
But Gorya literally forgot that Tom is the king. She's like, no, get out of here. Stop yelling at them. You'll get arrested or whatever, right? Like, stop prying into other people's, like, don't do this. You'll get in trouble. And he's like, I own this place, Gorya.
hello, this is my hotel.
This is
That's my name on the
that's
hotel.
that this is mine.
Yeah. Yeah.
My queen needs something. Make it happen.
Yeah.
Right?
Hunting wants to go somewhere. Okay, she can go there. That's fine.
Yeah.
And then Gorya tries to stop her.
Yeah.
And she tries to say, no, let me help you. And he's like, no. And he grabs her head
No.
and says, stop worrying about other people's business.
Yeah.
Stop
He stops
it.
her from being a threshold guardian.
Oh, I love this so much. I love this
Because he's
so
further
much.
along in his thresholds.
Yes.
He knows what they look like and he can identify them. And he's like, no, this is her journey. Remember?
Yes.
Like she has to do this. And she told you she doesn't want you to come.
Oh, I love this so much. There's something really important about the fact that Gorya taught him so much at the beginning of this whole story, right?
Mhm.
Told him what to do, how to do it, how to be, how to act.
Mhm.
And
then
now
he's like, no, I am helping you now.
yeah,
Oh, it's sexy.
it's so sexy. It's great. It's so great. They're equal in this way. Like they're sharing how to be good and how to be their best selves.
Exactly. Can we talk about the Tom finger snap and divine
and the towel.
power?
Yeah.
No, like so like we get a chorus of ah
So
a couple of
funny.
times because like he is
He has
all
the power
powerful.
of the gods. Yeah.
He is all powerful. He has the power of the gods. He has this divine, nothing can stop him power right now.
Yeah. That's
Everything
again,
is his way.
yeah. This is where he's at in his journey, is that he can do anything. And we haven't seen his power in this way before. And that was purposeful because it had to happen now because there's still some things left for him to learn. Namely, I need to use my power for good and not just to get whatever I want when I want it. Like that's kind of his last literal lesson, I would say. But in a hero's journey way, it's that he is exhilarated with all this energy and all of this power because of his ego death and his resurrection through her love. So this is all still new, and that's really important, right? Is that he's rebuilding his ego from the bottom up. And that's going to be a problem later, but right now it's really good. It's good for him to do that. It's good for him to exercise that power, test his boundaries. He has no boundaries,
Yeah.
but it's good for him to do all of this.
And it's also good for him to practice using his power as a wise and good leader. Exactly. That's also part of this, right? And he does that. The room he's in is wonderful. I love the red curtains. It's his red. It's the
same type of room that he was in with the Hana stuff. It's the same room. It's a little, they use a different filter on it, which makes it a little more vivid and a little bit more bright. So yeah, it's a happy place. It's not a place where you're stuck on your journey because somebody poisoned you and is keeping you hostage. So
and we know Gorya is going to listen to him because he has lactose soy. And he should have tried this whole time. The way to her heart is through lactose soy.
Why haven't I seen anybody talk about the fact that he opens his mouth after he drinks it? So you know that there's do you know that
I have to cut all my giggling.
So I haven't even explained why it's funny yet, but the reason why it's funny is that animals like cats and dogs, they tend to show their mouth whenever they're telling you that they're not going to hurt you.
Yeah.
So when my dog yawns or my cat yawns, it's telling, it's if there's excessive yawning, it means that they're just very anxious. They don't want you to think that they're gonna hurt you. So they show their mouth they open their mouth wide. And this happens to like animals in the wild too. It's to say like, these are my fangs. Look at my teeth.
I'm putting them away. Yeah.
Yeah. They're not gonna hurt you. So the fact
Yeah.
that he does this after he drinks the lactose soy, like a cat drinking milk and then yawning
What's
like
up, little
that,
tiger?
like, yeah, exactly. It's so funny. It's
That's
so
adorable.
funny. I love it.
And then, oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah. But she does ask him there, are you angry? And that's how he responds.
Yeah. And he's
Are
like,
you
no,
angry?
I'm not. No,
I'm feeling better now. Look at my teeth. Look at my fangs. I'm not gonna hurt you.
Yeah.
And then we get like the fact that, because he's telling her, he's like, Conning has figured out how to do this, how to overcome Gawin in her own way.
How to climb Gawin's walls on her own.
So you want to talk about the?
Can we?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't know about this myth. This is all
me.
you. Yeah,
it's all good. No, so there's a ton of lost husband stories out there, including Psyche and Eros, which we have talked about.
Right. There's Osiris and Isis and Osiris.
Yeah. There's the enchanted pig. The white bear of Valamon.
I don't know that one. One of my favorites in kind of like superhero lore is Hawk Boy and Hawk Girl.
Yeah, Hawkman and Hawk Girl, or Hawk
whatever, however they're referred to.
Yeah, because they're constantly chasing each other through history, basically, and getting reborn again, and then trying to find each other. Okay,
so good. Yeah.
So this is the Black Bull of Norroway, and typically in sort of this thread of lost husband stories and folklore, there's like a youngest daughter. That's always really important. Usually there's 3 daughters. There's a youngest daughter, similar to Psyche and Eros. She was the youngest daughter, and she ends up being told she's going to marry a black bull, or that a witch tells her that a black bull is going to accompany her, but the black bull is kind to her. She grows because she drinks out of his ear and eats out of his right ear and drinks out of his left ear. It's mythological, right? Like, so by like sharing her worries with him, she grows. That's kind of like, because she's speaking to him. Bulls are synonymous with being studs, right? They are sexual animals. They are the bull of the herd. They get to sleep with all of the women. Cows. All the cows. Right. And she does everything that he asks, and then he drops her off at his eldest brother's castle. And through that, she was given gifts because she did exactly what she needed to do inside of the castle. She was given enough like things, and she's only supposed to use them when she needs them, in her greatest need, and she has to know when her greatest need is. Eventually the bull brings her into a valley of glass, and tells her she has to wait there and not to move.
Oh, but she doesn't obey, right?
Because he says, I'm going to go and defeat the evil that is over this valley. If the sky turns blue, you'll know that I've won. If the sky turns red, you'll know that I've lost and died. And the sky turns blue and she moves, but that's not the directions that he said. He said, you can't move until I come back.
Yeah.
So she tries to climb out on her own. She's unable to do so because it is walled with glass. And she keeps on sliding down the sides of the valley. She keeps on climbing and sliding down. Over the course of 7 years, she works for a blacksmith that gives her iron shoes, but still she's she's finally able to climb out of the valley, and she runs into the witch who has daughters that have been trying to get the blood out of clothing by washing it and give it back to a young knight who is staying in the witch's home. And if they can wash his clothing and get the blood out of it, then he will marry that daughter.
Cool.
So she is able to wash the blood instantly, and actually it heals all her wounds at the same time.
Oh, cool.
And she gives the clothes back to the witch. The witch gives it to the eldest daughter. The eldest daughter gives it to the knight, and he thinks he has to marry her. One thing comes to another, but again, these things come in threes. And so she like tries to tell him that she was the one that spent 7 long years serving, climbed the glassy hill, got the blood out of the clothing.
Yeah.
Will you not come to me? And to prevent him from leaving with her, the witch gives each daughter a sleeping potion so that he falls asleep at each night and can't hear her.
Oh, interesting.
But on the last night, he accidentally knocks over the sleeping potion, and he finally hears her and the truth and awakens and leaves with her.
Yeah. Oh, cool. That's awesome.
He was the bull all along.
Yeah, of course. Of course he was. Of course he was.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's amazing. You can just Google it.
Yeah. So
the Black Bull of Norroway.
Hunting is climbing these glass walls where he told her, like, you're not
don't climb the glass walls.
Yeah, don't try to do this. Leave it alone.
And she didn't listen.
Yep.
And she washes away the stain of his past.
Yep.
And this like constant need to be with these other women.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that keep him asleep too, psychologically.
Yes.
I am blown away that there is a folklore out there that so aligns.
Yeah, there's some really cool stuff with like the idea of just climbing buildings in general, you know, the constant going up and down and up and down. All of that, you can find so many good like fairy tales and myths about
Sisyphus.
That. Yeah, very Sisyphus. Yeah, I was
like you have to keep on climbing until you learn your lesson or until you find what you're looking for.
Yeah.
My
husband always says the myth of Sisyphus is the myth of us. It's just this funny thing that he just started saying because he thought it was cute. It had to do with like, you know, like regular life troubles. Yeah. But now every single time I think about like myths about going up and having to keep trying to push and push and push, I think about that because it's like, it's just so funny. The myth of Sisyphus is the myth of us, meaning that we're always pushing upward. We're always trying to go forward in our own journeys. And it feels repetitive, but you're still going up, right? So that's what that means generally.
Yeah. And that like sometimes, especially when we talk about change journeys, I literally give this advice this week to somebody, so this is where we're at today. I'm repeating myself a little bit in my own head. But with change journeys, you're gonna regress, you're gonna relapse when we talk about habits, like hey, you're trying to quit smoking, or you're trying to learn something new, or you're trying to gain a habit that will be beneficial to you. You're gonna relapse where you're not gonna do what you need to do. But it's this continuous spiral up. You're never gonna go back to square one. You're gonna have learned something, and the sooner that you take on that hill again or climb that glass valley wall or climb the next skyscraper like Hunting is on, the sooner that you're gonna get further on your journey.
It feels, and that's the point of that's why Corey says it all the time. That's why he said it in the first place. It feels repetitive, but it's
Mhm.
not. It feels like you're stuck back where you were yesterday or a year ago or whatever,
Yeah.
but you're not. You can't, like you said, you can't go back. You're always
Yeah.
going forward. Um, the myth of Sisyphus is the myth of us. Anyways, I just think it's funny. So
It's a good one-liner. I love it.
it's cute. I love it. All right, so then we get the Gawin
Oh,
in the
we want
pool.
to talk about him being in the pool.
He is so hot. Oh my
That was
good
not what I was
lord.
gonna say, but
I
yes.
well, I want to. That's what I was gonna say, Marie Claire. That's what I was gonna say. It's important.
No, you're right.
This is important.
We've had more demand for us to fangirl about how hot the cast is, and goddamn,
I
right?
love. Yeah, I think Melody said it today on Twitter. Like she
I
was
love
like,
it when you're like, oh my god,
yeah, but because like I'm boy crazy as hell. I'm boy crazy as hell. I mean,
this
like,
show has done
I,
stuff to me. I think it's because it's so psychological. It gets me to where I need to be like, damn,
yeah.
I'm dumb now. They're hot.
Well, I was gonna say like Marie Claire is not usually so focused on that kind of thing. Like I'm a sucker for like K-pop groups and like just hot guys. Like show me hot guys. I like hot guys. Like Robert Pattinson and Adam Driver and like anybody can be hot in my mind as long as they're good. They're a good person, have a funny personality, and I don't require very much to be in love with you. I just don't.
My
So
glass walls are a little higher.
yeah, like I have I pretty much tore down any wall after The Last Jedi. I just said, you know what? I don't think I have a type. I think that I'm just attracted to
Hot people.
hot people, and
Yeah.
that could be anybody.
It's great.
Depending on my mood. So, but
I love it.
anyways,
Yeah.
yes, it's totally legit, and there is some substance always in fangirling, and there is some substance in appreciating hot people,
Yeah.
beautiful people, especially beautiful people that have beautiful personalities like these people do. I mean, come on.
Yeah, they're all pretty wonderful, Bright and Two and Win and like
Do and
Nani and
Nani
Do.
and
Like, wow, this
Prim
whole
and yeah,
cast are just
they're
like
amazing. They're
yeah.
beautiful people. They're
We
beautiful individuals.
on the inside too.
Right. And that's what I mean.
Um
That's what I mean. That's what I mean. And
he's
that's the crazy thing. But
he's swimming.
yeah,
What is
he's
he swimming? What is he swimming in actually other than water?
It's a cleansing path. It's a past thing. It's a
Regret. He's swimming literally in regret. How do we know? It's repetitive, it's
right.
negative, it's self-focused rumination. That
Mhm.
is like self-focused repetitive action.
Right. He keeps
Swimming in
seeing
his regret and is stuck in the past.
the back and forthness of it. The fact that he
Mhm.
keeps seeing images of Mona either
Mhm.
on the side of the pool or inside of the house or wherever she would have been because she was always around. And then we go back to the hotel with Tom and Gorya, and Tom he's like my professor because he's referring to MJ
Yeah,
there, which is
MJ.
hilarious.
And he passes her with a
Yeah.
basketball throw.
And she says, how did you get into okay, well, I have to say the whole line first. He says, Honey must pass the ball to him first. He's like, let me tell you, this
Yeah.
is a lesson that I was told by my professor. So if you want to pass it back, then she's got to pass the ball first. Got it?
Yeah.
And he's not even using the lesson like
how
necessarily in the
it
right
was
way.
intended, or well, also how MJ meant it to be used, which is between the two of them, which he does in a way because he's showing her, he's not only giving her a lactosoy by passing her a lactosoy, but he's also saying, I'm going to give you some wisdom.
Yeah.
And then it will help you see what you need to see. And then like with just, I'm going to help you. I'm going to help you so you can help them.
I love it though, because he's also frustrated that she doesn't learn it quickly. Like,
yeah,
he's like, this is what you need to learn it, okay, got it, all right.
Why are you still stressed out?
He's like, are you still stressed out?
I told you the thing.
And he like presses his fingers into her eyebrows, like, stop stressing. But also he's like, why don't you just like see what I'm seeing? Like, this is like such a thing, you know, if you're in a couple partnership, like, how like I just want to put this into your mind, like, just I want to take what's in my head and I want to put it into your head. That's what he's feeling in that moment. I want to put what I understand in my mind that I cannot articulate right now.
Yeah.
I want to put that into your head, because this is like, this is stressing me out that you're stressed out, right?
Yeah.
But it's so cute, and they're so adorable.
And I love that he like smooths out the wrinkles on her forehead,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
is,
He's like, stop it, stop worrying. But
yeah.
then he lays out a plan, because she says, I want to do something, right? We talked about this last episode.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you can't do stuff. Sometimes you have to wait. And he says, I'll tell you what, if you support her from a distance, then I will help you. And then she says, well, what about Gawin? And he's like, I will talk to Gawin. Like, I'll talk to him. You support Hunting from a distance, and we're gonna figure this out together. So
And this is so like, good. It's and it's like, we're a team.
Yeah, we're a team. We're better when we work together.
Yeah.
We're better for everybody if we work together. It's so good. So good. And then
I love them.
They're amazing. Gawin gets out of the pool, sees the feet of Mona, and for a moment we wonder, is this the Mona?
Is this a ghost Mona? Is this the Mona that is trouncing around his brain, or real Mona? And we know it is real Mona as soon as she has an iPad.
Yeah, she's real. She's real, and she's in the lacy bridal dress. She is more of a ghost than she has ever been, even though she's physically there. She's physically present. She is more of a ghost than she's ever been. And this is really important for like the thing that he realizes. So she gives him the iPad or the video of him, or of Hunting on the
trying
rooftops.
to find, right. Trying to find the secrets.
Yeah. This is so interesting, because like, she is there to say, hey, I see that there's this girl that is trying to figure out our past.
Yeah.
Because she likes you.
And Mona could have said, this is what I said. I'm engaged now. And
right.
But this isn't about her.
Nope. She's trying to show him this girl likes you. She went up to this rooftop. It's dangerous at night for a girl to be up there.
Yeah.
Like, this
wake
girl
up,
likes
wake
you.
up, sleeping magician.
Yeah. Don't make the same mistake twice, right?
Yeah.
God dang it. So he says, he apologizes to her, I think, and he says like about the bad memories. And she says, everything about you has been a good memory for me. It's so important. It's so precious that she says this in this moment. Because it's her, she's like giving him this. But of course he fixates upon the ring.
Yeah.
Because she's a ghost bride. And
yeah. I did want to point out that she tries to take his picture, because she's taking pictures of the room, because it hasn't changed. And he tells with her phone, and
she doesn't have a camera anymore.
And he tells her not to take his picture because she's not his to capture any longer.
Oh, interesting. I love that. We have to stop making memories together.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. And I just remembered we did skip. I did not gif the part where he undid the deleting of memories.
Yeah, that's okay.
We talked about it on Twitter a little bit
Yeah.
as well, but there was that part where I just want to point it out. People didn't
Control Z'd.
Yeah, he deleted the pictures. This was in the flashback from earlier. He deleted all the pictures of Mona, but then he control Z'd, which means that he undid the deletion, which means that he didn't actually delete them. So just wanted to point that out. But yeah, so then he fixates upon this ring and he thinks, and like you said, because he was like regret, like he was swimming in regret, he can't let go of this emotion in the moment, even though she's trying to give him something new. She's trying to give him a new leaf to overturn, basically. She's trying to tell him, like, you can, this can be someone that you can be with. But he is swimming in regret, and he is fixating upon the fact that, like, he could have been that for her. Like, he could have been the one that gave her a ring if he would have just done things differently.
There's a huge psychological benefit to regret. Like, I really want to talk about it just momentarily.
Sure.
Because, like, sometimes we, like, here in society, like, no regrets, YOLO, you know, like, but regret serves a survival function for us, and an emotional function. It serves as a way to warn us and tell us to look at our choices when we come down a similar path in the future that produced negative consequences. It's like, you think about it, and regret is like a major reason that many addicts who are addicted to things get into recovery, because they regret the negative consequences of what has happened to them in the past. And it's really, really important. Another thing, a way of how we use regret, is a way in which we ruminate on it helps us reevaluate and think about it and reframe it into a more positive light in the future, or what has happened to us. And it happens in this episode, but I wanted to give another example of it, which is in Crash Landing on You. There's some horrible places that the main female lead in that is going through. Like, she's very depressed, and all of the terrible things that she went through get reframed by being healed and transformed and recontextualized through the love of her life.
Yeah.
And regret is not permanent, because we can learn and transform the symbols of regret in the future. And this is all tying back to what I talked about at the start of the episode, to do with transformation of symbols shows how far we've gotten. It's like the road signs on our own life journeys.
Absolutely. Yeah, sometimes you and I think we've talked about this before, where remembering things differently. So, like, you can choose to move on from something simply by remembering it differently.
Yeah.
So you can, like, you have the power to change your not your memory, but you have the power to change the perspective on the memory, right? Like
the lens,
the
broken lens of the experience.
Yeah, you can say, hey, this made me the person I am today, and you can ruminate on that positively, or you can ruminate on that negatively. Like, you have the power of your own experience. You have the power of that memory because it's yours.
Absolutely. And people underestimate how powerful our brains are to change our entire view of the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Thinking about something differently, it's something I learned in my years of living here. Like, sometimes you cannot change your situation, but you can change how you view it.
Right. Exactly.
And that changes your entire world.
Yeah, because that is your world, is how you view the world. Like, that is everything.
Yeah. And it sounds so simple, but, like, it is very difficult. And sometimes you need time and an internal meta meta thought on
Yes.
how you're thinking about things.
Right.
And that's not something they teach you in school. It's you can meditate on it, you can work on it, or you can like learn how to do it. But changing and thinking about how you think about things is one of the most powerful tools you have in as a human.
Absolutely. And just as one of the ways to do it is to speak it.
Yeah.
Right? We
Talk
talked about
about
that
it.
last
Go to therapy.
episode. Yeah.
Yeah.
Talking about it. I talked about soundboarding, I think last episode, like talking about it with somebody else, allowing it to bounce off of them and come back at you. That's one of the ways to deal with it. And that's one of the ways to reframe the things that have happened to you, to be able to have ownership of it, over that thing that happened, by voicing it, seeing in a different lens, seeing it out loud. Super, super, super helpful. All right.
Hearing how other people think about it as well, like talking it over with friends, and they give you a different lens. They give you a different reflection of what you're experiencing from an outside perspective.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yes. All right. That was a wonderful side note.
Sorry.
No, I think that was really interesting. But yeah, that's
but
where
he's mad that she's undergone this journey that he didn't ask to be saved from.
Yeah. Well, and he's stuck, right? Like Gawin is stuck, and he's not willing to look at the past.
He told her to stay still, like the Black Bull did.
Yeah, definitely. He told Hunning to stay still. So
stay still.
Yeah, but she's not. And I love the compass. So we get this great shot. First of all, we get the good shot of Gawin when like cursing and throwing the towel, which we saw in the trailer, but I just wanted to bring it back because it's so hot. It's just so hot.
He's mad.
He's mad, and we get like this chest exposure, and I just really love it. It's great. He looks so good.
And she's continuing on, and he was asleep with another woman.
Oh,
do you see? She's like laying. She had a shower, and then she was asleep in his bed. Basically, he had gone out that night and had slept with another woman.
Yeah. So, well, okay. Well, there were some things before that. But...
I know. I just like he went back to his old. Thing.
They even show it in the the montage of her. She's going to different buildings and she's trying to find something. Then she realizes 6 a.m. sunrise. So the building the rooftop of the building has to have a good view of the sunrise. And so she gets out the compass on her phone, which is just brilliant, absolutely brilliant storytelling, because it's so symbolic of her pointing her compass towards the thing that she wants most, right? That's typically like compasses, what they symbolize. And at the same time, we're showing Gawin speeding in his Lambo towards the club. And they even show, which you didn't get to capture here, but they do show the lights, like the club lights.
Yeah.
While he's speeding off, while the car is speeding off into the distance, just to show us that he is going to the club. And then they show Hunning almost giving up. She's like, at the end of it, she's like, I don't know where to go anymore. And then the light hits her. And she's
like a light bulb.
Like a light bulb. And sunlight is starlight.
Yes.
Suns are like, the sun is a star. This is all symbolic of her, and that's what I was saying.
This is awesome, Ty. I didn't have any notes for this section.
How this is like
I don't know. I had a lot to say about the bull.
I know. I had the myth stuff last week. You had it this week. I
didn't even talk about the Lady of Shalott. Oh well, I'll do a tweet thread. It's fine.
That's a good idea. I didn't have anything about that either. But yeah, so so I talked about her earrings, right? And previously, Hunning has been up she's still wearing the little triangle earrings, not the star earrings. She's gonna put those on in the next scene, but this is when she realizes where it has to be. What is the sun shining on? What is the starlight shining on right now? So she follows the Starlight, and that's when she figures it out. And that's when she texts Gawin, which you said
Says 6
is
a.m.
yeah. And Gawin's
tomorrow.
waking up in
Yeah.
a hotel room with another girl because he's
Yeah.
a playboy.
I mean, he's
good.
captured, like he's still under the same curse that he has been under, and so he goes out again.
Yeah, which I thought I was great because I was like, oh, it's morning time now. We have to go through another day, and they just immediately cut back to the night. Like
To the night,
they
yeah.
just cut straight from like him getting the text to like, okay, what like this is gonna happen, right away.
Can we talk about his jacket?
Oh my God, his jacket is incredible. I don't have a good visual in this one, but I think in the next one. But yes, let's talk about the jacket.
Okay,
It's brown.
it's brown because Gorya is forcing him to grow again, and it's covered in a garden
On the bottom
because he's growing from the bottom up.
It's amazing. Like Gawin's outfits are typically light in color.
Yeah,
right?
he doesn't wear brown that often.
He wears brown only when other people are wearing brown.
Yeah. But this is his own, like, I'm regrowing from I don't know what he's going to be wearing in the future. Honestly, I don't know what his color truly is. That's him. That's not this
Yeah.
like magician or this pretense that he's put up.
I think that Gawin will always be a kitsune. Like I think he will
transformational because kitsune
Yes.
can change their shape, and he's always going to be kind of like this transformational figure. Yeah, okay, I dig you.
I don't think
he'll reflect what the group needs,
which is funny because Haning reflects whatever flowers that she is dealing with in her life.
Yeah,
she reflects his color. She reflects
Gorya.
the Gorya. She reflects the flowers when she is in the flower shop. She typically is the same color as the flowers that
because she's a lady in waiting. She is literally of service to the rest of the flower kingdom.
Yeah, so it'll be really interesting because they've
both grown into other versions of themselves, right? I love this show.
How will we see them together? Like, what's gonna happen? I'm so curious. Like, as a couple, like, what's gonna happen? Oh,
yeah. Okay, I also need to talk about Tom's outfits.
Oh, wait. So first, I didn't get to capture this one, but the girl that he's with, the girl that he's talking to in the club, she's wearing a yellow dress with pink roses on it.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't get to capture the gift, but yeah, I think maybe in the next part where he goes back to her, but it's yellow, like really yellow, and then it's got pink flowers on it, which is just like telling us that because Haning so far, even though like we just said she mostly reflects the flowers around her, like this girl is wearing yellow, which is the color that Haning most often wears.
Yeah, like daisies and that bright color.
Yeah, and she has pink roses on her flowers, which Haning typically has flowers in her hair tie, or in other ways, like in her daisy earrings and all that kind of stuff. So
and pink flowers are new love and stuff like that. So pink
so
roses.
She's like Gawin's Hana in the club, right? So
she's dressing because she's trying to take him from his path, a brief femme temptress situation.
Yeah, like a Cersei. Yeah. We both exactly said it at the same time. Yeah, exactly.
Tom in his like leather bucket hat and his colorful sweater that looks like tiger stripes.
Yeah, it's a great sweater.
So purposeful. Like he's like, I got all my peeps behind me.
Yeah,
and I'm still an animal,
but I'm also in love because I got.
But I'm also in love, but I got my leather hat that was camouflage terribly.
I love his leather hat so much. Like Bright doesn't look very good in bucket hats. I'm
No.
sorry. I'm sorry, but he just doesn't, like, especially not with this hairstyle. Like, absolutely not. I love bucket hats. This is not a good look at all. But I
He
love that
takes it off.
he's like, I'm clubbing.
And Gowan's like, my king does not club when his lady is about.
Exactly.
He only clubs when he is depressed. And you do not look depressed.
He knows him too well.
Yeah.
He knows him too well. They know each other too well. And I love this interaction because we've talked about how, because MJ is usually the one that goes to Tom whenever he is experiencing certain things. But now we have like this kind of role reversal going on where Gawin is experiencing certain things. So the one that shows up is kind of not expected based on the
hierarchy
episodes, right? But it is like
it's because Gorya needs help, right? This is important enough to the queen, as well as he needs to take a vested interest in his kingdom and the health of his subjects.
Absolutely. This is how it should be, because Gawin is how we've described him before, right's actual right hand. He's the one who's in charge of the F4 whenever he is away. When Tom is away, Gawin is in charge of F4. So the fact that he's the one here for him and trying to teach him a lesson now, this is Tom actually being a king. Like, is this him actually looking out for his subjects? Like, basically, like you said,
such an amazing leader this episode. It's
scary.
No, it's supremely sexy. I'm sorry.
But it's scary because it's like, 5 steps forward, steps back. What am I gonna get next episode? Like, he's
gonna revert when things go wrong. And okay,
what's gonna happen?
Okay.
Everybody be really prepared for like the worst thing to happen.
Have your honey badger stuffy to hold.
Don't prick your finger.
Don't prick your finger. Okay. I love how he points out that Hanning is a fighter. He respects that.
Like Gorya.
Yep. And like Gawin is like, my life's been a mess. Everybody's giving me headaches. And he's like, don't make the same mistake twice.
Exactly.
Learn from this regret. This regret was useful for you. You could be happier, and you shouldn't miss out on this chance. And this is exactly what Ren learned.
Yeah.
With Mira.
Yep.
That relationships need love and timing and the will to take the chance to in the right moment.
Well, and the reciprocation
reciprocation, but like it's like you have to get the right timing, just like taking a picture. You have to capture the right moment.
Well, it's very similar to the Ren stuff with how he was capturing Mira and how far away she kept becoming.
Moving. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very similar.
These are the lessons that Tom and Gorya as our main couple need to learn, and they're learning it through the relationships and experiences and healing those around them, because when you help others, they help you back.
100%. This is something that it's in the other versions. It is in the manga. However, because they're condensing it so much in this particular version, they're able to capture it so much better, because in like the manga, they were able to kind of have these chapters that kind of went off a little bit more into the journeys of these other characters and maybe didn't have the leads involved. But in this version, they're putting them in the heat of it.
yeah, and they come along to experience it and to also grow from their friends' journeys as well.
Because
And
they don't have enough time to like have the conversation about what happened. They're
yeah,
there for it.
they're there for it. Yeah, which like that's so smart
It is.
to include them. And then we ourselves get to, like, again, this is, I've been saying this from the first episode, this is such efficient storytelling.
It is.
And it is. And it also makes us all feel good because this is a community. This is a kingdom. This is everybody being together and healing together.
Yeah,
Oh,
100%.
I love it.
They make the best choices with this. And like I said, like this was all there from the beginning. However, we have to remember the short form versus long form. This is where things start to fall apart. But they do things in this version that allow us to experience all of those things like magnified. It's magnifying those bigger lessons and those bigger things that happen eventually.
Yeah.
But they're condensing it for us. They're distilling it for us.
Yeah. Okay. Let's talk about the moment that his curse is broken.
Oh, this is so cool. This is so cool because this mirrors the part
with Hana.
With Hana. Yeah.
Except it wasn't that he was under a curse or poisoned.
Yeah.
He is the curse is broken and he's transformed back into a man.
Yeah.
Like
it's really cool.
I love fairy tales so much. And I love when modern storytelling plugs into folklore and psychology through mythic structure. Like,
yeah.
And then using the symbols that we've become familiar with in the show.
Yeah.
Like this, I mean, it was a one symbol thing. It was poison. It was a magical curse, poisoned apple.
Yep.
And this is the reverse of that because we're on the opposite end of when that happened in the journey.
I mean, he's literally standing in the same place.
Same
Tom
place
was standing. Like
this, but he's facing a different direction.
Oh, yeah, he is. And Hana was standing in the same place. Again, facing a different direction. Like, this is crazy. They're literally calling back to it. They're telling us that this is relevant. But how is it relevant? It's that it's a curse. The curse is broken. Just like Tom fell under a spell, he is breaking away from that spell. It's so fairy tale. Yeah. It's also like, it also puts us in the mindset of whenever that did happen in that episode with Hana, that really magical music was playing, where we see this club now as that place where that happened. And so that is a symbol that's sticking with us from now on. So when this happens, it's saying that like magical things happen here.
And we get this like crystal vision, sort of like it's a lens. It's a broken lens in some ways, like the broken lens of Mona, like
like
right,
camera,
like like her camera, and he's seen things clearly through it
for the first time. He sees his entire relationship with Hunting, essentially. He sees when he met her, how he met her, all of that.
I went back and like freeze framed like his vision of her. Like, it's so great. We talk about Tom vision, we talked about Gorya vision. Now this is Kavin vision of Hunting, and it's so good. And it's like her climbing, her persistence, her sweetness, her sexiness, like it's everything. So
it's everything.
Like this to me is very much like how Gorya went through all of Tom's outfits and like put them all away and understood all of the different pieces of him. This is Gawain understanding all of the different like ways that Hunting has loved him, which
we typically don't get. Like this is not this is
new.
This is totally new. Usually this is a one-sided love.
Setting the Hana Yori Dango bar so high.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, this doesn't happen in other versions. Like, you know, this character is being loved, being shown that he's worthy of love, but doesn't see her in that way.
Mhm.
I was worried that we were going to get that. I was really worried about that. But there were some people on Twitter who did say, like, there were some people on Twitter that made some threads about how invested they were in this relationship and how like went into depth. And I for the life of me, can't remember their ads. I didn't write them down, but I'm just recalling this off the top of my head because it really was impactful to me. And it really made me think like, okay, maybe we do have this in store. Like, this is really exciting because the relationships that is being established before this episode was telling us that this is important for Gawit.
Yeah, and it's
Like-
it's significant not just for the main characters, which typically it's something that is a reflection of what the main characters need to learn, but
Right.
this is also Gawin's journey on his own too.
Yeah, which is, again, they're doing this with every character and I'm super impressed. But yeah, so we get Gawin. This is his moment where he realizes what he needs to do and he leaves the club in this very, I love the shot. He like runs out and they have the whole shot where he's like running out from the end of it completely out to the end, coming out of the darkness and like almost like being pulled out from the underworld, because the club is like the underworld, you know.
Oh, I have a question for you briefly
Right.
before we. Okay, so he put his drink down to go talk to Tom. Do you think it was poisoned?
Maybe.
And Hanning saved him, protected him.
That's a stretch only because like we have no idea.
Okay.
I doubt it though, because like,
But like,
he's the poison.
okay.
Right?
I just, but like, I was like he looked at his drink the same way that Tom did. And I
Yeah.
know that was what we were just talking about, but I was like, it's like Hanning protected him from. Anyways,
but it's more symbolic though, because it's more about the fact that he decided to walk away from the club,
from the poisonous life. Okay.
right? The
I just had to ask.
lifestyle.
But yes, you're right. He escapes the underworld, literally pillars that look like he's come out of a tomb.
Yes.
This is lost husband stuff as well.
Yeah, it's very lost husband. It's like
coming back from the dead or coming back from transformation, same deal. And there's his king,
yes,
with his steed waiting to take him where he needs to go.
Absolutely. I love this so much. It's made me so happy, like, to see them get in that, like, see, like, it took you a while and get in the car together, go off to their women and like
and
run
it just
towards them.
It sort of reminded me, like, when they run towards it, it's like when he's running and Tom is like following him, it looks like they're like running to go get married.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
like we're late for the priest. And like Tom's there as his best man and Gorya's there as her matron of honor. Yeah. Right? Like, it literally looks like that. No,
it does. No, 100% it does.
Okay. I'm like, am I crazy?
It's like they literally treat it like that after the whole thing happens, and like Tom and Gorya share that like look of like, oh, they're married now. Like, we did our duty.
We did our duty. I love Hanning's outfits.
This is the same outfit that they met in. This is the same one, except and the one that Gawin was wearing had visible stitches in it, and it almost looked like it was like an unfinished jacket.
And now he's growing.
Now he is vulnerable.
And to me, it's seeing somebody in new eyes.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Right? Yeah, he's seeing her for the first time in this way,
and they climb,
Yep.
And it like it's climbing together and like helping each other up like a hill or climbing together is a metaphor for choosing to take a journey together, i.e. life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So like climbing, and then okay, can we talk about the sign momentarily that you don't have a good shot of, but I'll talk about it anyways.
Oh, yeah. Oh, wait.
It's a neon sign.
Yeah. I didn't get the neon part.
Do you know what it is of?
Yeah, it's like, well, I don't know exactly what, but it's like a bowling sign.
Yeah, it's a
Okay.
bowling sign
Mm-hmm.
with
Okay, I have to say the bowling thing. I didn't write it down because I was like not so sure, but it is kind of sexual. Like,
yeah, going
the
down an alley. That's a sexual metaphor, bowling a ball down an alley.
yeah. So when I saw, like, especially
Yeah.
with the way that the little upside down heart insignia was, like the symbol on the other side
Yeah.
of the neon sign, it was kind of weird.
Yeah, and like one of the bowling pins is unlit and one is flashing to be unlit. Like one's ready for this and one's anyways.
Interesting.
Yeah, but bowling is sort of symbolic that any time in your life you have a chance to hit or miss
Right.
and miss something that could have been yours. And they get there and they see the back of the sign, which they have to wait, and we get this interplay between the lyrics of Silhouette, which is sung by Win,
Right.
throughout this moment. And it's not the sign that is important. It is the shadow.
The shadow. That's what I had too. Yeah.
And shadows are the deepest, darkest part of ourselves.
Right.
And if you can love somebody's shadow, you can fully love the full person.
Okay. So in every other version,
yeah,
the light shines, the sunrise shines on something
and changes the words.
Right. Changes the words or shines on the words, illuminates something that says like, I love you, or the person's name, that character's name or whatever, or like heart something, or I love that person's name. There's different variations of it, but they're always it's the light shining on that thing.
Usually it removes a letter or
Right.
transforms one of the letters.
Right. So
instead, this is gonna be like they could go there anytime they wanted to.
Yeah, this is crazy. Like, I was absolutely shocked. We're talking about complete transformation of the symbol.
Yeah,
this is a shadow, and
I got more.
Oh my god, continue.
Okay, it is a shadow,
right?
But from the direction that we can see it in front of us, it's also a spade, which is violence. And when you turn it upside down, it becomes the heart. So it's violence being given up for love.
Yeah, totally.
Which is our anti-patriarchal show in summary.
Yeah.
What is this show?
So I also had the fact that when they zoomed out from the shadow, they show that the sign is also reflected on the water.
In the water.
Yeah. So I mean,
it's more fundamental than that. It sticks with you. If it's in the water, it's deeply in your subconscious. That's why that's important. Like shadow and okay, so when you integrate your shadow, it becomes part of you,
right?
In your subconscious.
Well, and also
wait, what? I'm getting excited.
It's fine. So I mean, there are a couple of things going on with the water. Like, one of the things is the fact that the water is there a lot, clearly. Like, the water is either always there or it's there even not during 6 a.m., right?
Yeah.
So you can see this even not during that time.
Yeah.
Meaning that it's always around.
From the right perspective.
Right, exactly. Meaning that he didn't have to have this. It didn't have to be this way. He could have seen this if he would have just had the right lens. Then he would have been able to see that he was loved all along and that he is worthy of love, right? But he was unwilling to look at it correctly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's showing us multiple perspectives of the sign reflecting the same message, but in two different ways, right?
Yeah.
Saying you are worthy of love. You've always been worthy of love.
And that's not going to change.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's super, super impactful.
Oh yeah. And there's a bit of like Mona is alone seeing the sign, right? Obviously.
Yes,
and it flashes back to having the sun between them and Gavin, which is like the sun. They're married under heaven in this light of the stars.
I mean, they're literally being bathed in starlight. Like,
yeah.
It's
yeah. And like also like that we know is like they're getting ready to kiss. They're getting ready for that.
Yeah.
Like they've used it enough in this show that they know that symbol.
Yeah. And then we get a tear from Gavin as well.
Yeah, and he cried. It's a brand new day, all of that.
They played the song, and we also see our proud parents, Tom and Gorya, looking on.
I think at the moment when we see Hana and Gavin with the sun, we get hope that hope that the light will shine through and chase the shadows away. Find a brand new day. Is the lines from the song. It's just so good.
And again, the episode title is The Rooftop of Tomorrow. So this is saying
the future.
Yeah, this is the future.
It's not the past.
Which is so cool because in the previous versions, like they don't necessarily end up together after this moment. But they're telling us now that this is what is coming. This is what's coming, and this is the next step for these characters. We're all doing this. We're all doing this. We're all integrating our shadows. We're all taking a step forward.
And we had, Gorya and Tom watching this and being like proud parents.
They are they're proud parents.
I wrote down the king and queen are watching like these two basically like commit to each other emotionally.
Yes, they're good. Facilitating this marriage as the king and queen do in this realm. It's beautiful.
MJ and Ren try to throw a party.
Oh my god, that's so funny though, because they say that like Tom called them there. That's what MJ says. He's like, "Why did you call us here?" They've been up all night long except for Ren and MJ, and
which I love this part in Meteor Garden 2018 when they stay up together and they have like he's like sleeping on Shansai. Like I love, but this is just such a different thing. It's like everybody's healed. Let's all hang out together, but we're so tired. It was such a draining emotional experience, and we stayed up all night. And Tom's just wanted to be around his peeps, right? Like he wanted to celebrate. He wanted to still give Gorya a party and make her feel special, even though he didn't realize like him being a virtuous and wise king was what she needed.
Oh Lord. And this goes into like his next step, right? His next whole thing. Yeah. He has to learn that still. But yeah, he wants to stay a baby. So, but we'll talk about that because he doesn't say that yet. But yeah, he wants to lay down in her lap. He wants to stay in the lap of the goddess. And then we go to Gavin and Hana, and there's a cute line that I didn't get to capture that is where they're getting into the car and they're like, "Oh, is Hana gonna drive?" And he goes, "Honey, do you want to drive?" And she's like,
No,
Kavin, like you're
I'm
teasing
tired.
me.
Yeah.
It's so
And then
cute.
we get this quick moment where she's like, I didn't think you were going to come. And he says, I didn't come for Mona.
Yes,
I
I
didn't come.
didn't come because of Mona.
And then she's like, wait, we got to talk. And he's like, nope, we're not having that conversation right now. It's room.
I love that they like share these little looks.
Oh, it's so good.
It's so good. It's so good. It's so sexy. It's so good. It's just, and the fact that he speeds off again, just like in the previous episodes, and she kind of screams. It's just,
yeah.
Cute boys in fast cars, part 2.
Yes, ma'am. Part 2. But then we get this like, foreboding moment.
Okay.
The cars.
What did you think was going on here? Because I had a moment. I screamed. Oh Lord, I was screaming and cursing.
Well, so like with the chess metaphors that we had, I thought this was just the pawns approaching. I didn't think the queen was coming. I personally didn't think so.
But okay, so I didn't know who was coming. I thought somebody's coming into the driveway. Turns out they're leaving. They're leaving to go get the queen. Yeah. They're going to get Rosalyn. I really thought, because we had that because
the cars knowledge. Leave the same way that Gawin left, right? Like
right, they're leaving.
It was hard to tell based on like how Ren was looking and how the shot was shot, but yes, they are leaving to go get the queen and bring her back to the house and do what she needs to do. It scared the crap out of everyone. Everyone was like, oh no,
they're gonna get interrupted.
They're gonna get interrupted. It's gonna be bad.
Because we've been talking about this all week though, like the fact that we've been clowned for so long about getting a kiss, and then we knew we had the shot of them leaning in together, and people were like, what if they are interrupted? And so that's like in the back of everybody's mind. What if they're interrupted? I thought it was gonna happen. I thought they're gonna get interrupted. I really did. But
okay, can I sing my song now?
You want to sing your song?
I mean, like, okay, so
I know
you already
said
he's a baby. He's reverted.
I know it. Yes. All right.
He's using the green pillow to rest his head in the lap of the goddess. Baby Tom do 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 do, baby Tom do 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 do, baby Tom do 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 do, baby Tom. Yeah, like no,
that's it, right?
That's it. That's it. But he was reborn as a baby. We've seen that. He just wants to stay a baby. He wants to stay in this newfound like ego that he is starting to build.
He wants to stay in the lap of the goddess.
Yes.
He knows that he's a better person with her, because he's rebuilding himself from the ground up, because he's rebuilding his ego, right? And again, like, just because you're rebuilding your ego doesn't mean that you don't have like your shadow and the other parts of your personality to deal with. He's still dealing with all that other stuff. Like he's still dealing with all it, but he did experience an ego death, which means that he's rebuilding it right now. And he is a better person doing that with her. And he knows that. And she even tells him like, thank you for being that today. Like, thank you so much,
she called him a baby. You're such a baby.
Yeah. She says, and then she says, I was the one who was rash. Like, thank you for being so calm and understanding and giving me good advice. And that's, oh my God. And they
had the moment, like, this is all I could think of. And like, she was like, I'm surprised by who you've become.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to surprise you with, this is like traditionally like courtly love favors too, right? Like a sweet peck or a sweet kiss is her gift to him.
Yeah.
So she like, I'm going to give you a sweet kiss. And like people freeze framed this just to make sure that they actually touched lips, which was hilarious.
Did
and
they need to? They need to? Like, clearly they do. He perks his lips out. He pucks his lips out. Like,
he
he
was ready.
literally, like, yeah, he was ready.
Yeah.
Like, Bright snuck an actual kiss in there.
And then he's like, wait a second, that wasn't wait, that's not
that doesn't count.
That doesn't count. We got to do this again. And do we need to talk about lip controversy 2022? Like, I
cannot for the life of me. Okay. All right. So let's talk about it. All right.
Okay.
You want to put me on my soapbox? Because I will get on my soapbox about
momentarily.
There is a good or a bad. What is good and bad kissing? All right. There is no such thing as good and bad kissing.
Except if you bite somebody by accident.
Even that could constitute a good kiss, depending on your subjective wants and needs. However, smushing your faces against each other is kissing. And it doesn't matter like how you think that looks. That is kissing. It is kissing. It's intimate. Have you smushed your face against another human beings? Have you?
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
I mean, I like how he grabs her waist. I like all of this. Okay. She doesn't know what she's doing.
Let's not even say that for a second. Because Meteor Garden 2018, in Chinese dramas generally, the girls specifically do not move their lips.
Yeah.
And that is just common in a lot of C-dramas.
And
in K-dramas too. Yeah, K-dramas.
Depending on the K-drama, like neither of them move their lips. They just like zoom in and take shots from multiple angles.
That's why I don't understand what people are like. Why would you complain about this? He's moving his lips.
and he leans in. He's like, I'm coming for more.
Bright's a good kisser. I've seen him kiss in other stuff. He's kissing well here too. Like, this is a good kiss. Are you kidding me?
We're gonna get more Gorya back, and it'll be sexier.
This is already sexy to me. Like,
it is. I know.
I'm just saying. I'm really happy. I'm gonna go to the next slide because this
it was a backlit kiss. It was a backlit kiss. It's a backlit kiss. It is so important and cute and wonderful. And then we get the reaction from the maids, which are maids and Auntie You, who are us.
It's 100% us. 100% us.
It's literally us.
I mean, I can't stop watching this.
I squeed.
You squeed?
I squeed. I squee. You squee. We all squee for kisses.
I was screaming. Like, I was screaming. I was crying.
I was trying not to bother people.
I bothered everyone. My husband was on the third floor. I'm in the basement. I was all good. Yeah. No.
Yeah. No. This is great. Yes. I'm so happy for all of us, and I look forward to all the fan fiction.
My characters have already passed this in my fan fiction. However,
I want more.
I will make some video edits in the week with the kiss.
Good.
I'm so excited.
You that was your promise. You said as soon as we get the kiss.
As soon as I get the kiss. Oh my god, there's so many things I want to do now that we have the kiss. I'm so excited. So excited. I love it. So
I'm leaning out. Oh, that's sexy.
I know. It's like I literally cannot stop watching this. That's why I was like, this. Everybody, let's just take a moment to appreciate this.
Slow clap. Thank you.
Thank you, creators. Thank you so much for this. Thank you, Bright Slips. Thank you, Bright.
Thank you, Bright Slips.
Thank you, Bright. However, I don't know how you know how to do this, but thank you for knowing how to do it. Thank you, Gorya. Thank you.
Thank you too.
Thank you. I don't know. Thank you. I appreciate both of you so much. All right. Okay,
I love that they're in matching outfits still. They
are in matching outfits. It's so adorable.
And she's in pink, and she's got a little stripe of blue and white, and
they're amazing.
And then she's heading home, and she's like, I've learned so much during my trials as a maid, mother. literally, like, I learned the house is in great shape.
Yeah.
Little did she know.
Oh my God. This was brilliant.
Brilliant.
This was brilliant. The fact that we see Rin there in the same outfit that he wore whenever he first protected her. This is the exact same outfit that he wore whenever he
purposeful.
Whenever he like covered her mouth and like threw her up against the side of the wall. This is him trying to save her
pain,
but it's not like not gonna work this time. He does try.
Just
it's so good. It's kind of like go ahead.
I just I'm dumbfounded by how smart this was. We get Rosalyn, who looks so chic and sexy in her like black tulip look. Maybe with like a there's like a sparkle line kind of thing going on, like a line of like she is, and she's also a seductress. Like she has her shoulders are exposed. And so there's this, and her waist is like broad and super tight with when she was like walking. You can see her walking. Oh man, shivers. And then like we had all of her minions and pawns like following her. She was like, I was behind as the Black Queen, but now you're gonna all regret this. Like 100%. Which is important that she is dressed in black. It just means that, you know, she's not moving like first necessarily, but like also she is probably not as smart as she thinks that she is. Like she's not primed for success in the end. Right. She doesn't come from a place of a position of power like Tom currently does. Which is that, and I think we'll get to it in the preview, that he's in white mostly, and so are his allies. Next episode, Tom. Yeah, that's what the preview shows. But like the green, it's just like the green closet is being thrown out. It's crazy. It made me like upset. 100%. I was wondering, like, what are they gonna show? And then they showed that. I'm like, clothes are like really important in this show. And like you're literally throwing out Gorya's identity. That Ty is the abyss. This is the crisis and failure. This is the ego death. We're gonna be throwing out who you thought you were. You have no choice but to journey into yourself to figure out who you actually are, who you claim to be. I know we say this a lot, but what is this show? It's a projection of the psyche. Like that's literally, like we're gonna throw out who you thought you were, and you are no longer allowed to live in your psychological home anymore. Exactly. That's exactly where we are in the journey. This is like, it's unfair to every other show in existence ever that this show is so good. They didn't have to throw out the closet. It didn't have to be the closet. They didn't have to throw out anything. It didn't have to be a green closet. I know, like, but they chose. But they've always had a green closet because closets clothe your identity from a clothing perspective in this show. It's literally been there from the beginning. What is this show? It's bizarre. It breaks me. Bizarre. This breaks me. It breaks my head. It breaks my heart open that it's so good. I don't remember the home being torn apart in this way in other versions. It's always broken in some way. So like in the manga, something like her roof falls in. That's in the
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. In other versions, like her home is literally destroyed. It's not always by Rosalyn or the mom. It's sometimes just like happens to happen.
But
The
this is
the universe is telling you that, but usually it's before the maid arc.
But this is different. This is different than the previous versions, because previous versions is like your home is falling apart on its own because it's
Yeah.
old or whatever. This one is
Or
saying
it's bought from her,
yes, this, or she's
right?
evicted. Yeah.
She's evicted.
This
Yeah.
is
So
this is not that. This is okay. Remember how we were talking about in the previous episode? I was telling about the story about the whale that was being held down by the small men, and the whale was only freed. Yeah, we talked about that. That was the Lita.
right, the Lita whale thing. Sorry,
yeah,
I
the
just
Lita
I
whale
I
thing.
like had no context. I'm like whale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like the story that I told in the previous episode about like the men tying down the whale and then the whale is freed, and that's like basically a projection of the woman becoming like
Right.
to know
This is
herself.
Murdoch, right?
Yeah, this is Murdoch.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so like this whole thing of like a bunch of men who are tearing down a home from her perspective. There's a bunch of men, they're a bunch of tiny men. The actual thing, I can't remember the word for it, but you know, like Gulliver's Travels.
Yep.
So like when the tiny men are
The
like
Lilliputians.
Lilliputian, that's the word I'm looking for. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, the Lilliputian men.
They tie him down.
They tie him down. They're tiny people. These men, these tiny men are typically in women's dreams of like tying down things or ripping apart things or destroying things that they love.
Mm-hmm.
And this is
like death by 1,000 tiny men.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So these tiny men, from her perspective, looking on, especially where the camera is showing us in the frame, these tiny men are tearing apart her home. Literally.
Yeah.
And this is so important because now Gorya is the queen. She is all powerful. She has Tom behind her. So this shouldn't happen to her. Like this should not be something that can potentially happen. But it is. And that's why they look so small. And that's why these things are so like, this shouldn't be a big deal, but it is a big deal. Because these are a bunch of men, even though they're tiny men, they're insignificant men, they're still tearing apart her the place where her femininity thrives, the place where she goes for nourishment,
and also like where she shared being a small family with Tom. This was their first home together. Absolutely. Also important.
And this is going to project her into the going to her family wherever they are and staying with them is going to provide her the sustenance that she needs to continue on her journey. That's going to provide her certain steps that she needs to put parts of her back inside of herself that she has left behind, and also to find a new home for her and Tom. This home has to be destroyed.
They have to build a new home together. That's also really important.
Exactly.
Oh, this show
is crazy. This show is crazy. I did not expect it to take this turn. I did not expect this. I'm so surprised.
I think Ren is going to offer her to stay with him. And I think she's going to stay with Hanning, and that's going to put her in mom's targets.
With the Hanning's dad, maybe lose his job or something like that. Yeah. Let's talk about that when we do the preview. So we get
I have no thoughts on this.
I have one thought, and I've already voiced it. They gave basketball to this character as opposed to Gorya, and I'm so confused. Why did you guys put us through the athletic scholarship thing and the fact that like all the symbols were pointing towards Gorya playing basketball? Like, I'm so confused. Like, It's
It
literally
was cut for time, I assume.
I mean, it had to have been. It had to have been.
Yeah.
The fact that they've been making the show for as long as they have, this had to have been the thing that was cut
to
as
make
they
it,
were
like,
writing
yeah.
it. Yeah.
We're
But
coming down to the wire from a cut perspective, and sometimes the cool things get cut
yeah. Yeah.
from the script.
I've made my peace with it.
It's fine. We'll just write some fan fiction about them playing basketball, because I used to play basketball as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, it's cool. Like, it makes me almost think that maybe the director or maybe some of the writers or one of the writers or something like that have an affinity for basketball.
Yeah.
Because it really is showing through with this particular plot line, and it's showing through with some of the other stuff going on in the show. So maybe
like F4 have to practice playing basketball too, so they're not terrible at it. Like the actors, and that they seem like they work well together, and like we've seen behind the scenes of them like practicing together or like just playing. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah, we've seen enough to show us that basketball has been important for some reason. But yeah, the story that's going on here is basically that she wants to be a pro basketball player, and she's not in any like team or club or anything like that, but she wants to be. And so MJ's like falling for her, knows that she was working at the KFC and knows that she's working hard and he doesn't work at all, and he's still playing this role of being not somebody that has money. He's still pretending to be like a street kid,
king in disguise stuff.
Yeah,
prince in disguise.
And he's like, I'll help you until you turn pro. Like, and they have like this joke of like, oh yeah, I'm just a club mate. And it's just like a flirty thing. It's really cute. But I hope to use this in some edits in my future once we get the full arc. But I like seeing MJ as kind of this romantic hero. It's really nice. And we know that there's also like a bad guy in this story who's attempting to
making evil plans.
Yeah, he's like attempting to ruin all this for them. So we know this is going to end badly. It'll be interesting. All right, preview for next episode.
It's not just a regular chessboard, but the whole world is a board game.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah,
right?
that wagers on people's lives.
Yep.
Wow, Rosalyn, you're the worst.
She's very, very evil, which we knew. I mean, like,
yeah, I mean, we knew we would get this, but
yeah,
she's playing her games, and she's on the phone probably with Tom to explain that he villain monologue.
Yeah.
It's no gift different than the red card game you played. I'm just
even
though people in real life,
even though like she is the originator of the red card game,
right? Yeah, I gave you this curse, I know how to use it. And we get some hot pictures or film of Gavin and MJ walking down a random hallway, looking hot. Oh, it's a parking lot, but they're looking hot. Like, I love it. MJ's wearing leather pants. Yes.
Heck yes. Shiny pants.
Shiny pleather pants. And then we get the moment of Gorya running to go and speak probably with Rosalyn when just before she decides to give up and go into exile. I'm sorry to say.
Well, okay, so we know that there was a line in the trailer 2 where she says, I might lose, but Tom will win.
Yeah.
I think she says that I know that was cut over this scene here, but I really do think that she says that when she goes to Rosalyn, because I think that there's going to be a moment where she realizes that she has lost this battle, right?
Yeah.
I've lost this battle, but I believe in Tom. I think he's going to win at the end, because when she leaves, this is going to be so good. I think that she's going to remember how we talked about when she rejects him and it's really sad and One Last Cry plays. And I said she was white fanging him. Like she was
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
Go back.
Home. Go back.
go back to your world.
Go back to yeah.
Yeah, I think she's gonna do that again. I think that's gonna be what she does, because I think that she's gonna still believe in them, but she needs to protect Honey. She needs to protect like
Yeah.
her friends first, right?
Yeah.
So she's gonna push him away in order to like
Give
keep,
him a chance. Yeah.
yeah, like it's gonna hurt so
Yeah.
bad.
They recontextualize the story so much. I don't put it past them that this is like part of her feeling like she needs to get out of the way, not because of Rosalyn,
Yeah,
but because she knows Tom needs time.
to figure it out. Yeah,
Yeah, to like
there's
to get there. But like it won't be that they're working together. She's gonna have to fool him in some way, like
yeah,
lying to him.
yeah, definitely. Well, she
Does
also
she throw the necklace before she leaves?
100%.
Yes. I think she's gonna be the one to throw the necklace, not traditionally the male lead. When she comes back.
Oh, okay. Well, I didn't think about that. No, I think that it's gonna happen how it usually happens. I think that
when she comes
she's gonna
back?
no. I don't think it's gonna be when she
No,
comes back. I
it
think
comes
that
it happens when she comes back.
no, I meant traditionally, as in she gives him the necklace and he throws it.
Yeah. Traditionally.
Yeah.
So you think that
I'm not talking about order. I'm just talking about.
will it happen before she leaves or after she comes back? I think it's going to happen before she leaves.
I agree. I think they're going to combine these things so that it happens before she leaves. But yes, the way that it happens is that she gives him the necklace and
he's like,
throws it. Right.
Throw it.
Right.
And then he's like, oh no, it's gone down a drain. Like normally she's the one who's like goes and tries to find it.
Yes, because she didn't know he would discard it.
Yeah.
And so she tries to go get it. I don't know what she's gonna do in reaction to it. Because they do show him like sinking down, and
I mean, Amon helps her find it in the manga. The Ren character helps her find it in other versions.
Right.
It's never truthfully lost.
No.
So I don't know. I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Show me the stuff. Like
I was ready. I was so ready for the angst this episode. I was
ready too.
I'm surprised that we didn't get it. Like I'm absolutely like,
again, I'm like, what? Do they have enough time for Singapore?
They do. I have hope. Believe it or not.
Okay, I am not there today. Maybe I'll get there if I can think of how they can do it. But they spend so much time being amazing and showing us where the characters need to be truthfully and not rushing anything.
Yeah.
Like
but they could also, I mean, they do so much in such a short amount of time. Typically, I wouldn't be surprised if they fit it in some way.
Like Gorya has to go and come back next episode.
Right.
To fit in Singapore.
You know what they could also do though?
What?
They could also end it in Singapore. Easily. I mean, they could combine enough plot points where they could have them like they wouldn't end it in Singapore. They would end like the last episode would be like in Singapore and they would come back and then have the
What
wedding.
about amnesia?
That's what I'm saying. So like the amnesia plot usually takes place when they're coming back from the
So but we need a denouement. Like we need the like epilogue. And that's
but I think that could happen in the latter part of the last episode.
Okay.
And maybe the first part could just be the amnesia. Like, or maybe the first part again, like I think Okay, think about this.
Amnesia
Every
is not
time-
a full episode
I know.
anymore. It's
I
not. It's not 3 or 4 episodes like it is in some versions.
No way.
It's
Yeah.
not that. It's like
Well,
it. I mean, Meteor Garden 2018. It was a fake scene,
exactly.
right?
It's
So
a fake out. Yeah.
yeah, it was a fake out, but and then they ended up doing the starvation plot, which is a whole nother thing, which I loved in that version.
Yeah. It was good.
And then they spent a lot of time on weird dream sequence denouement, but it's fine.
they need it. They need enough time for Rosalyn's redemption.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the only thing I'm focused on right now. Like everything else is gonna
However
revolve
that
around
happens,
that.
yeah. Like, oh well, okay. Gorya's journey completion. She needs to go in exile and come back, choose to come back and
Yeah.
and grow from that, and then confess her love back to Tom again.
Right.
Tom, again, we said he has to go through his next threshold and bring back the community has to come together to help save him.
Yep.
But again, the last steps can happen like in the course of moments.
Yeah, the last steps can always be combined. They always are combined.
They
like,
always
it's
are.
not
Yeah.
It's always the first half of the journeys that need more time. The latter half of the journeys don't need as much time. So all of this can be very, very, very fast. So I like the fact that we've already gotten like Gorya being honest with her feelings, kissing Tom. Like this is all really good. This is all, it's giving me the right signs.
Yeah, they're
what's
setting it up. Yeah, and
Yeah.
we know she is the thing that they need. She's the dragon at the end of, like, she's the final boss. We know this. And again, she's bringing up the red card. So this is like she has to to truly be healed. The elixir is changing the meaning of the red card and changing the meaning of who she is and all of that stuff. And transformation, magical transformation.
It'll happen
Rosalyn.
very fast.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny, it happened very fast in the 2018 version, which had so many episodes. All of a sudden, the dragon mother was no longer a dragon. It was very fast.
Yeah, and I love the scene when her and her daughter, like the sister, is like are in the same bed and she's holding her.
Yeah.
And they're like, and she's like, I'm just so tired.
Yeah.
Oh,
we'll get something like that with Rosalyn and Tia. We have to get something like that with Rosalyn and Tia. Yeah, there has to be this, and that's Heroine's journey for Tia and for Rosalyn, is that reconciliation, of the feminine, and from a feminist perspective, from a Bell Hooks perspective, it's that healing those wounds of
and like no longer feeling the pain of the patriarchal culture that they're in, and that they need to maintain it through mutilating the child.
Exactly. And that's healing the wounds of that emotional mutilation is like super, super important. So I think we'll get those moments.
It doesn't take long to do that. I know. It just feels like I'm like, we're running out of time. I feel like the show is telling me we're running out of time, and it is. Yeah. And also we're running out of time from an episode perspective.
Yeah. Totally. I do think we'll get the bus scene because of Ren. I think
we have to get some sort of version of him denying Tom and then Gorya
stopping it,
Tom.
And saying like, no, I'm gonna go with him. That's why I think bus scene, or at least some version of that, or some kind of some kind of transformation of that. Rosalyn's redemption, as I said, obviously she leaves, she goes to her family, she comes back. Ren also visits her when she's with her family. We know that from the previews. So there's a lot that has to happen, but I'm excited to see how they do it. 3 episodes. Crazy.
It's probably gonna feel quite fast. I feel like we're gonna hit, the hits will keep on coming.
They will.
Everybody ready to be super sad.
Soon. I love it. I love angst. I'm so excited.
Well, I
got good moments.
I can't wait for the train scene. Like,
me too.
It's gonna be so good. Like the flashing as like the train was moving and she was crying, like, Oh my God.
Oh, it was so good. I cannot wait. All right. Well, we're done. Oh my God. Okay. Y'all let us know what you thought in the comments. If you haven't already, you probably have. But thanks guys so much for listening, watching this. Just make sure you again just share it on social media, talk about your favorite moments, talk about whatever you would like to talk about, and we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah,
I'm so excited
absolutely.
to see your comments.
Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.